Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NJP podcast with me, Joe.
And I'm Nick.
And today we are going to be bringing you, as ever, the latest in gaming and Twitch news, as well as...
Today we're going to be talking about who are you as a streamer, what your streamer personality type is, what your voice is, and what your why for streaming is. Why should people watch you above anybody else?
Okay, so first story up today. Xbox are going to be doing Nintendo-style directs every month for the rest of the year. Now, to anybody who doesn't know, Nintendo Directs are pretty sporadic. There's never any set dates or schedules for them. And a lot of Nintendo fans actually get pretty salty when they've not had one for a while, like they are at the minute. But Xbox are claiming they're going to do one monthly until the release of basically the new Xbox. So, on this, I assume that this is because of there's going to be a lack of shows. There's no E3. So I guess it's a good way of them, as it has been for Nintendo, for them to showcase exactly what their console is going to be all about. I think this can only be a good thing. I think this could spur Sony on to do a similar thing. I would think that Sony would see that and think, well, this is a good idea. Like, the fans want to know. And they want to see it. And they want to be kept updated regularly because they're fans. Fans are fanatics, right? That's what it is. I just wonder if they can keep up the content for a monthly broadcast, given everything that's going on at the minute. A lot of things are not progressing like they should be, although they are still claiming, as are Sony, the console will be out at the end of the year, and a lot of the AAA titles. But I just feel like if they're going to do one a month, and I'll make note that Nintendo have never done anything like one a month. Occasionally they have mini ones, but can they make enough content and enough stuff to showcase on a monthly basis for the rest of the year? Because we're talking, so at the time of recording, we're on the 6th of May. The first one is tomorrow. So by the time this podcast is out, you will be able to view it. So there's going to be another, 6 before the year's out. And if you're going to make them exciting and a reasonable length, you're going to need quite a bit of content to fill that, especially from an unreleased console, which is what this is supposed to be all about. They are going to be talking about their Game Pass and other stuff, which will be interesting, and you'll be able to get a look at apparently some of the titles which will be released in all their full glory. So I think this is going to be really interesting to watch. I think it's also going to be really interesting to see Sony's reaction, because I'd love to see them going head to head on this for bringing out content. They could make it really exciting with trying to show off which is the better console. I mean, it's always been my opinion. There's not a lot of difference, but apart from exclusives, but it still makes it that bit more exciting. They always like to have digs at each other. Nintendo's a bit out the way. They do something different. So to see, I think it would be really cool to see them go head to head.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I feel like we need like a Super Bowl, but with the two consoles. Like a versus, just them battling awesome out. Yeah, I don't know. If I was a CEO of one of those companies, I'd like reach out to the other company and be like, hey, like, let's get something fun. Just like, fun, friendly business. I do think it's going to be really hard to keep up once a month with, any kind of gaming news right now, just because with, COVID, a lot of things are changing and slowing down or being delayed. But I do think this is going to be really awesome. It will allow more access to the Xbox news, which is always a good thing. I think anytime something comes to an online platform, I'm very excited for it, especially if it's a community event.
Yeah, because I heard that, so for E3, which used to be the expo for gaming. When I was growing up, everything was released at E3 in California every year. But Xbox had actually, So Sony had pulled out of that before COVID-19 took over. So Xbox were going to be, then Nintendo were were making an appearance there, but it wouldn't be to showcase because they like doing that through their direct. So Xbox would have been the only people that were showcasing their future console there. So I think it's happened on the back of that. But I do think it's a great thing. I don't know about. I've not been to many expos, and obviously I'd go to one if it was local to me. Like we do have a few in England. I've never been that interested to go. But I feel like you're only going to get so many people go to an expo. Yeah, they'll see it in the news and stuff after, but wouldn't it be cool to get everybody together? You know, it's going to happen at 10 p.m. East or, 9 p.m. East on this date, and we're all going to take a look at it together and get everybody's reaction. Not be an expo. People take pictures, you see bits, and then you hear part of a story. Then they get the write-ups and do a review or... I think this is really exciting, and I'm not a massive Xbox fan, and I will watch it.
Yeah, I'm curious to tune in as well. I think you bring up a lot of good points. I think it'll be, I don't know, really interesting to see how it goes tomorrow. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll be tuning in, and of course we will be updating on that next week. On the back of that, though, apparently the next Call of Duty is still on track for a 2020 release, despite all the things that are happening at the minute. So we've spoken about this quite a bit. I think we've covered quite a bit about programming and developing in COVID, and it seems like they are finding ways around this problem. And obviously, Call of Duty is normally one of the biggest releases of the year, and they're saying they're on track for it. I guess though it is incredibly important this year, the Call of Duty, because it will be released on both the new platforms. So it is a massive one, because people who are casual gamers who like Call of Duty, and there's loads of them, loads of people are from every age that play Call of Duty, and the casual ones alike, if they're going to pick up an Xbox or PS5 in time for Christmas, they're going to pick up a Call of Duty if they like first-person shooters. So I guess they don't really have a choice but to get it out. I've read a few stories. The people that they spoke to and interviewed, they seem incredibly confident about that. Like, they don't seem like they're worried. And I feel like with how big a release it is and the release of the consoles, I think if they were that confident, if they weren't that confident, they wouldn't be saying it, because to hype it up and then bring it down would not be good for them.
Yeah, a trend that I'm noticing in gaming is to go cross-platform. So I know Sea of Thieves is coming really soon, I think, to Steam. I really like that, because I remember back in the day, if you didn't have a specific console, you didn't play that game. And now the cross-platform compatibility it's really nice. Even some online games you can play with people playing on another platform. Now that does have its own problems. For example, somebody playing an FPS on a computer usually has a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But it is really cool that we are able to find the games we love on whatever we want to play on, whatever our preference is.
Yeah, it's I feel like things have come a long way with regards to different platforms. Like 20 years ago, a lot of stuff that was on PC was not on a console. It was just not a thing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a thing. And then you were, and I guess if we say like 20 years ago, you had the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 had completely different architecture. They had a few of the same games, but very few of the same games. And that's kind of a bit like why I am like, well, actually, what is the difference?
Yeah.
But they have released their specs, and I was taking a look at this today, and there are a few sort of key differences. Like the PS5 will support resolutions of up to 8K, and they will be using solid state drive storage. Now this is incredibly important. So basically a solid state drive is a hard drive with no moving parts. They're incredibly fast, and it makes a huge difference to playing games. They've been on PC for years, and PC actually has a smaller solid state drive now, an M2 solid state drive. But overall, there is not going to be that much. There's not that much difference in specs from what we know. Although we do know that the Xbox have been a lot clearer about their specs, and a lot more of the PS5 stuff is more speculation. But if we've learned anything from the last few generations, there's not been a great deal of difference. And if there has been a great deal of difference, it's not been used to its full potential. But Xbox are saying though that if you owned a full game before on your Xbox One, you will automatically be able to play the best version of that game on your Xbox Series X. So if you've had a game and you didn't even have all the DLC, apparently you will be able to play the whole thing on your Xbox Series X, which I don't know. I guess that's a pretty smart move, because at that point, in a console's lifespan, are you going to start paying for DLC, or are you going to go out and get the next console?
Yeah.
But if you can check out that DLC for free, and you might not have played it before, I think that's a really, really smooth move.
I agree. It's also more incentive to buy that console. I mean, you're essentially, if you loved a game but you never went and got the DLC, or like you can't afford the DLC for all of your games, I mean, you're essentially getting a bunch of free games. And I love that backwards compatibility has been considered, because I remember back in the day when there was zero backwards compatibility and how much that upset me. I was so frustrated. And then I think it was PlayStation released backwards compatibility before Xbox. And I remember being so upset that Xbox didn't.
Yeah, that's right, because the PlayStation 2 was the generation of Xbox's first console. So but you could play PS1 games, or like something like 95% of PS1 games on the PS2. And that what they're also saying is any game you buy. So what they're saying is any game you buy for your Xbox One, you will get the upgraded version when the Series X comes out also. Yeah. So not just DLC, but you'll get the souped up version when you get your Series X. So
that is really nice.
Yeah. So I mean that's just, and that again, that's really smart, because it's like, so like Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out. It's going to be on both platforms, but I want to play it now. But then I'm going to get my Series X. But now I can buy it, and then when the Series X comes out, I can play the souped up version. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that really is. I'm still going to stick with my PC, but I am tempted, Xbox. I am tempted.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, I guess for us sort of more, I mean, I play console all the time, but more PC based, because we have good PCs, right? So that's what we're gonna use. We've got gaming chairs. That's what we do. Like the temptation's always there when you've got a bit of money, because you want something for your living room or your lounge.
Yeah.
I think now, the Xbox has always tended to have more features with regards to stuff like for instance, the first Xbox, you were able to rip music. And it was like it's the first console you could rip music, and then you could play, like I used to play Burnout at my friend's house, and you could listen to the tracks from your own CDs over the top of and it would only play them like during the gameplay and stuff. Like it was really good and obviously that's something that's changed a bit, but they were quite forward thinking. I just think that they lacked they've always lacked the exclusives. That Sony have had. I think it's only like Forza. I don't know about the racing games. What I hear is the Gran Turismo went a bit downhill and Forza sort of took over, and that's one of the exclusives. But like PlayStation had The Last of Us and like many more. PlayStation sold a shed load of PS3s at the end of its lifespan because of The Last of Us, where I don't feel that Microsoft have ever really done. anything like that. But it is an exciting time. Christmas this year is going to be really interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Certainly.
Okay, so next up, Twitch has launched an esports directly so that viewers have an easy way to find any sort of esports or competitions that are going on. Now, I had a little check earlier, and as far as I can see, it's only Twitch approved streams. You can't tag your stream as an esports stream, which I guess is kind of fair, because you don't want just everybody tagging it as esports because they're playing with their mate that lives in Australia, like, and it's a really it's a really it's a really intense match, and you've been playing for years and it's a tie. But like, I think it's another shrewd move by Twitch, because they are seeing and they are listening and they are seeing how popular esports is becoming. And apparently the figures for revenue in esports has dropped very little to what was forecast, even in COVID-19, even though all the expos haven't gone ahead, because a lot of the events happen at expos as well. Of the esports happens, and it's barely touched what they forecast. So we were obviously, the esports thing was going to be much bigger than was forecast. So really shrewd move by Twitch. Actually, because it's cool to watch streams, but sometimes when I don't want to be involved, I just wanted to chill, I'd probably watch something that was a bit more competitive. Just makes it a little bit more interesting, maybe, especially if it's a game I already know like the back of my hand. So I think, well done, Twitch. Another very shrewd move. I just hope that this just expands. I hope that we get I hope it becomes I hope that it becomes even more intuitive and attracts more people, and maybe turns them on to stuff that they perhaps weren't sure of before.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I actually did not know that this was happening, and I'm extremely excited. I love watching PvP games. I get really into it. I don't really know a lot about League of Legends, but watching someone play League of Legends is really fun. And we have a lot of really good, competitive games right now. So I'm excited. I plan to be checking that out as soon as it happens. I am kind of curious what games are going to make it, though. Like, is it just certain companies are approved, or certain games?
I've not had a great deal of time to look into it, but I assume so. Like, the company that I'm going to be commentating for is called Global Speedrun Association, and they specialize in Mario Maker. I assume that there are far bigger ones that do Call of Duties, Fortnites, and do that. And I assume that it'll be all those sort of companies, which I guess is right, because we do want to be seeing proper esports. We don't want to be seeing Tom and Joe fighting each other from other sides of the world just because. We do want proper esports. We do want to see the best up against the best. Because I did wonder about a tag, but that's not a thing. The tag is not a thing. You can't just tag your stream as esports, which I think is a good thing.
I agree.
Maybe there could be maybe on the back of that, this is just something I just thought about. Maybe they could have if you did run a thing, or it was a smaller company or a very, a not so watched genre, maybe you could do like an amateur competition tag. Some sort of amateur esports tag, because that could be pretty cool as well. And then you knew what you'd be getting into. Yeah. But
I'm particularly curious to see if Heroes of the Storm makes it on the list. I'm still really bitter about the Heroes Grand Championships getting cut. So I'm kind of hoping that makes it on the list, to be honest. But I will say that someone had mentioned on YouTube, I think it might have been Alpha's YouTube. Right, he said that he does have communications with Twitch. He's talked to some people who work there, and discoverability is coming soon. So maybe that will come along with it, is more discoverability as it relates to kind of, what's the word?
Discoverability relates to
when people fight each other. Why did the word go away?
Esports.
Esports. Yeah. So maybe they'll include some more discoverability for esports as well.
Yeah. That'll be cool. I think they're going in the right direction. They're very switched on. They know what they're doing with regards to what viewers want and what streamers want. They keep rolling out extra stuff for streamers as well. I feel like we can't really complain about that. Maybe they could be doing more with their algorithms for finding new people. Especially, I think that most of the algorithms work on streamers of specific games and genres, rather than necessarily the demographic of who is actually watching. Yeah, I don't know this, by the way. This is just my view. This is what I think. I don't know the code or the algorithm, but it does feel a bit that way. But I feel like they always do take positive steps, apart from maybe being a bit grey with the TOS on titty streaming and stuff like that. But with regards to trying to help us and give us more tools, I can't really fault them. They are going in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's it for my stories. You said you had a story, Nick.
I do. So I don't know where the link is for it, but there was a Reddit thread. So it's not a news story, but it is fascinating. So there was a couple, and the boyfriend, I guess, had discovered somehow that his girlfriend had been donating to a streamer. Now, mind you, it was only like $15 or something over like 3 months. It was not a lot. It was maybe, $15 over 3 months, maybe just a sub. Or something.
Invader V says it's a meal almost.
Well, I mean, it depends. My pizzas are not $5, but I wish. But yeah, so he got really mad over this $15. I think it was. Yeah. Don't quote me on it, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it was around there. And he got really, really mad. And he posted, I think it was on Am I the Asshole subreddit.
Right. Oh yes, I've seen this.
Asking, did you see the specific Reddit?
I've not seen that thread.
Gotcha.
I've seen the Reddit where something blows up and it is Am I the Asshole? So it's like, hang on. So they put a situation to somebody and then ask. Yeah. That's it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's very interesting.
It is interesting. And spoiler alert, the verdict for this was he is a total asshole. He was yelling, or rather arguing with her about her finances over, first of all, it was only $15 to someone she was trying to support, but his view was like, why would you do that? It's dumb. Why would you like donate to them? And I find it, well, I will say before I get into that, the father actually texted him and was like, basically, fuck off my daughter, like get away from her, like do not talk to her ever again. Yeah. So the father was like, nah, not cool. But I think it's interesting because we talk a lot about, there's that whole simp terminology now. Like if you donate to a female, you're basically going to be called a simp. There's kind of this whole, I don't know, dark cloud over Twitch streamers talking about finances, talking about money, saying, like, this is how I support myself and getting donations. There's a lot of mixed feelings about it. And quite frankly, a lot of negativity about it when realistically there shouldn't be. I mean, you have the option to donate or not, and the option to support your stream, but that's your choice. And I do think there's a lot of making other people feel bad over their choice right now. So I thought it was an interesting read,
Yeah, very much so.
He was so upset over that.
Yeah, I mean, we know. This is so. I've had problems a long time ago with jealous other halves, shall we say? Like, and I feel like sometimes Twitch is people's escape. Not necessarily from anything bad, but their life might just be hectic and stressful. They might not be feeling bad, but it's just a way to come away from that. And people do get relief because they message you and tell you that they get relief and they enjoy being with everybody, not just the streamer. You know, they enjoy being part of the community. And they want to support that. And the only way that that can exist is through that kind of support. And yeah, it's not great. You don't want to have to talk about money, but at the same time, you do need it to keep the stream going. Yeah, you do. And I think that, you know, a lot of people who perhaps haven't or aren't involved or been on Twitch, so I'm guessing that the husband or boyfriend or whatever hadn't ever used Twitch. I mean, that's what I would guess, because if you like me and you stream for, you know, 4 to 6 to 7 hours 5 times a week, then you can't do anything else. So how else are you going to make your money? Really quite simple. But there are people who just don't want to understand, I think.
Yeah.
They're not prepared to do that. And they're not prepared to do any sort of thing. And I as much as I think that's a jealousy, probably partly a jealousy thing, it is probably also well, that's dumb. You don't need to pay them money.
Yeah.
What are you paying them money for?
Yeah, exactly. And I noticed kind of this trend around careers that other people perceive to be fun and not hard work, where they don't want to pay you. This happens a lot with art. I draw. So you'll get people who are like, draw this for me. It's, you know, you'll get, what is it? Like clout, basically. Like, I'll shout you out or something. And it's like, this is like a 30-hour project minimum.
Yeah.
And what, you want it for free? Like, would you go up to a lawyer and ask them? And like people, you can see it a lot on our Baggy Choosers, the Reddit Baggy Choosers subreddit, where people get really, really upset because someone says, well, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, you can pay me like everyone else. And they're like, oh, you're too expensive. Or, which, I mean, they're not. They're setting their prices reasonably, but that person wants free shit. So, of course, anything's going to be too expensive. I noticed that with a lot of more fun or easy careers.
Yeah, because I'm going to be spending, you know, quite a bit of money on my new sub badges, and I've got to wait for them because they're coming from an artist who is worth their salt, and there's going to be individuality to them. This is not something that's going to be regurgitated over and over again. And I felt like when I spoke to the woman, who was really nice, I felt a little bit like she didn't like sort of saying, you know, oh, it's going to be this, or she was sort of almost as if she was sort of prepared for me to go, because she's had it before from people, oh no, that's too expensive. I mean, when you think about it, it's really not, because it's a lot of time, like a lot of time.
It is.
Yeah, people will go and pay $100 to go and get their hair cut in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like, and but it's because they can see it happening, because it's more tangible, and they don't see the work behind it, and they're not you know, they're not artists themselves, probably, because they'd probably understand. So I try my best, like, with that, to understand that position, because I'm not talented in that front in any way, but I just know that I grew up with a couple of my friends who were very talented, and they really took their art extremely seriously, and rightly so. They took it very Seriously, and if something wasn't right, they just scrap it and start again. It wasn't like, oh, a lot of the time it was, I can't work with this, got to start again. So you got to allow for that, obviously, as well. You got to allow for the fact that they might not get it right first time, and also you could turn around and say, actually, that's part of it too, and they've probably got to prepare for that. So that's probably included in the price. Revisions, you know. So
1,000 hours of practice. I mean, you know, in order to make you what you want to see, there are thousands of hours of practice that go into that. It's just like going to, you know, especially like if you do actually go to art school instead of just practicing at home, that's expensive. And they have to pay those loans back.
Yeah. I had a guy come into the stream last week, and he paid me probably one of the biggest compliments I've ever had on stream, saying that I could be the next Ryuka, right? Which I don't know how true that is, but obviously the sentiment of the compliment was genuine. And Ryuka is an amazing streamer with a huge following. He averages like 4K viewership and has great support, and he's very good at the game. But like that, I'm completely flattered he'd say that, but it's only on the back of over a year of learning that craft.
Yeah,
I didn't get paid to learn, really. I luckily got bits as I went through. I wasn't getting paid to learn that craft.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes when people donate big, people will say, "Oh, you're rich now," which makes me laugh, because it's like,
yeah,
I don't want to say no and seem ungrateful, but I don't want to be like, yeah, because that isn't true. And I still do rely on the big I hope one day I will just rely on everybody who gives their single sub, and that'll be cool, and then I won't have to worry at all. I'm very fortunate that I get big gifts from people, and they sort of carry the rest of that. But they're not obliged to do that at all, and I don't expect them to. So it's kind of annoying if people sort of say, "Oh, look at all this. They must have loads of money," and people start talking about it, and it's just like, "Oh, such and such is rich. Look at all these gift subs," and it's like, that's not really any of their business. Like what money they have, like it's nobody's business. I would never question it either way. If I thought somebody was giving a lot of gift subs, it's not up to me to say, can you afford this? It's not my business.
Yeah.
And it's completely up to them. Like completely up to them. All I ever say is, just because you've been a big donator, circumstances can change, whatever.
Yeah.
You're never obliged to carry on doing that, and everyone will be treated the same regardless of what their donations, past, present, whatever.
Absolutely.
But because this platform's so new, I guess there's a lot of people who still really don't understand it, including ourselves. We're still finding stuff out every day, right?
I've actually been having that problem recently. I have been upgrading my gear because with COVID and everything going on. I really want my stream to be awesome. My average viewers is going up by quite a bit, and I've been having a good amount of people on, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And so I get nervous to show my new things out on stream because I might give the wrong perception. I might give this perception that, I don't know, that you aren't doing this to try and make a career out of it. Like you have money just to blow, and you're just here for fun. And it's like, I'm putting this money back into the stream because I really, really do want this to be a career. Like I am taking all of the money that I can and like investing in my own business. I'm not just buying toys because I have nothing else to do, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to have some fun.
Exactly.
And you get nervous to show it on stream because you aren't sure how that's going to come off. You aren't sure. It could come off two ways. It could be, hey, look, I'm taking every single sub, every single like donation and bit and everything you do, and I'm putting it back into the stream to try to make it better for you.
Which is what it is. Yeah. Or...
Yeah, but then you have other people who might perceive that poorly and be like, "Oh, well, why would I donate to them? Why would I donate to them? They already have money."
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I, am working really hard to scrounge this together. I'm working really hard to make sure I'm upgrading things. Like one of the things I upgraded recently, I got a Go XLR because I was having a lot of troubles like adjusting my volume. I'd have to like alt tab out of games. That's annoying for people to watch. When you have to constantly alt tab, is it good now? Is it good now? Okay, alt tab again. Okay, lower it, make it higher.
Yeah, right.
And so I put my money into that. It's not a cheap piece of gear.
No.
It's not. But I'm unfortunately still not rolling in money. So you get kind of weird about it. Fortunately, I know my community is really great. And I do tell them. And I think my community does know, like, I really want to make it the best I can for them. And I know they probably won't notice the upgrades like on the surface. They won't be like, oh yeah, that was that Go XLR. It just provides that that nicer experience to where you don't, the key to providing that nicer experience is they don't notice it because it's that seamless. So
yeah, and the thing is, you might just catch somebody's eye who can contribute to the community and everything that keeps the stream what it is. So those little changes, as we've discussed briefly, add up to big changes. Big changes.
They do, certainly. I do want to ask before we move on, can we get like a, I don't know, sneak peek of the sub badges? Like, could you tell us what they're going to be? Any hints?
My sub badges?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm often like eating a muffin on stream, right? So I was like, right, we're going to go for muffins. That's what it's going to be. So it'll start off as just like a cupcake, you know, just a basic cupcake. And then it might, like, I've given the artist license though. All I've let her know is like my color, and that sort of stuff. And I've given her license to sort of take that forward. And I was like, it's obviously this many, and I'd like you to just, you know, improve them as they go along. Whether you put chocolate chips in on month 2, and you know, you're gonna end up with big pink Jotendo pink frosting. You know, with a star on top, and then, you know, I just gave her license because, and I think, I feel, because I'm not an artist myself, but like I always feel like the artist is the artist, and I knew what I wanted basically.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be telling them how to draw it because that's what they do, and it's not what I'm good at. So I've given a license. Obviously, based on her portfolio, I don't think I'll be disappointed. But yeah, they're gonna be cupcakes, and because I've always just used.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've always just used like Mario power-ups, and people like them. Don't get me wrong, but it was just like a lot of people have a similar sort of thing, and it's been a year, and I decided it was time. And some people have the year badges now, so I decided it was time to make them proper and actually make them stand out more for the loyalty as well. Because at the minute,
personality.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the minute, you subscribe and you get the mushroom, and it's like, oh, that's only 1 month. But actually, it's still pretty cool, right? Because it's and they like that. I'm not saying that it shouldn't still be cool, but like it really shows, it really gives something back for the loyalty. As far as it's a bit of a flex. They have jokes about it and stuff. Or imagine only having a mushroom when you've got a fire flower and stuff. Like all good humoured, of course. But so I decided that'd be a bit cooler because they'll be like, oh, look at my muffin, and they'll be like, oh, I want the frosting, you know, and the sprinkles, and so that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. I like it. It's personalized. It's you. I'm also a little biased because I also want with like a food item. So, you know.
You're having coffee though, right?
Huh?
You're having coffee though on yours, right?
Like, oh, I thought you meant right now. I was like, yes.
No, you're
so mine is building a coffee. And then if I ever get partnered, we're going to build a pizza. So you get the coffee bean, and then you get a French press, then you get an empty cup, then you get milk, then you get sugar, and then finally it's a latte with like a heart-shaped foam.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Also, one more thing before we move on. Should we tell, I mean, we're talking a lot about money. We're talking about how expensive it is to be a streamer. Should we tell people how much we spend on our sub badges? I mean, like, I feel like maybe that's community awareness.
Yeah, that's fine. I can get that up now. I can't actually remember what the price was.
Yeah, I'm about to pull mine up. Like, I remember the vague amount, but I'm like, I don't remember the exact amount.
So
it's been a hot minute because it did take me a while to get them back. Because again, artists worth their salt. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, so mine are going to be the best part of $100, so $95, which actually, now I think about it, is even more reasonable than I first thought.
That actually does sound reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know, to be honest. I think she could have said $150, $200. I'd have probably said yeah. I don't know. It's really difficult because the artists that you contact, you know, not just people you get from Fiverr or whatever, and it gets no disrespect to anybody who does that, by the way, because I'm using Fiverr emotes right now on the whole, apart from, of course, the emotes that Nick made. Because on the whole, I'm using them, and people love them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to have a go at Fiverr. I just wanted to have that little bit more personality and individuality. So you don't know what, and like these people don't have their set prices out. You have to message for what you want.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that, because you can't, depending on what you want, if you want a sub badge that's basically only going to change color, obviously that's not going to cost the same as individual.
Yeah.
So I guess mine is sort of, it's like in stages. Like, whereas yours are completely individual every time, right?
They are. And I just realized I got a banging price on them. So mine were $75 US dollars.
I mean, that's
it's €70, which is really good. And I feel like I should send her more money. To be honest, I feel like I should send her a tip, because I've gotten so many compliments on them. They're so good.
Yeah.
And you know, some people might say, well, why should I like donate or sub to you just so you can have these little tiny badges, right? Some people might say that, but here's the thing. There are going to be people in your community who don't really care one way or the other.
Yeah.
There's people who care a lot, and it helps, you know, just the community. It helps to look nice, to build connection. You all kind of have this cool, fun little thing together. But the reality of it is, sub badges, something that probably a lot of viewers go to a channel and don't think much about other than they're cool. Those are expensive, right? I mean, we paid like $75 to $100. Those are expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of paying our bills and gear.
Yeah, exactly.
It's expensive.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, artists.
Yeah.
Including you, Nick.
Huge thank you. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to our main feature. What are we talking about today, Nick?
Today we are talking about, I think, the first step in streaming. So last stream, we talked about context, which is so important, and a lot of people are not thinking about it. This time we're going to talk about how you kind of discover what your context is. So the decisions you have to make that lead to you finding the perfect context, finding the perfect colors and fonts, and just visuals to describe you and your stream and your personality.
Yeah.
So this one's pretty in depth. I got my handy dandy bubble chart here, as I always do.
It looks awesome.
Thank you. I love bubble charts. I told Snack Daddy today if I could do bubble charts for a living, I would. Is that weird?
I don't think it's weird, because it looks like it's so satisfying. I don't know if I'd be as good as you are.
It's so satisfying.
We can we could include a link.
Share my bubble charts. I don't know if anybody will be able to like navigate them, but I'm happy to share.
Yeah, we can make like an open folder, or like maybe on OneDrive or something, or Google Drive, and drop all this stuff in there. I think that's probably a good idea we've just come across.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so take it away, Nick.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, the most important thing in streaming, we're going to talk about you. You as a streamer, you as a non-streamer, just as an entire person. So there are a lot of things you need to consider, and a lot of people don't really know this about themselves. We're so busy in our lives, running around, doing work, that sometimes we don't really have as much time as we would like to be introspective and to reflect more on our thoughts and feelings and values and hobbies and things that we like. So I think if you are going to be a streamer, you kind of have to put a lot of work into that beforehand, because if you don't really know who you are, what you like, how can you expect to be the kind of presence somebody else would be interested in? If you don't know yourself, then, I mean, how can you be interesting?
Yeah, right.
So there are a lot of things that go into this, and hopefully we'll get the bubble chart up. I'll put it on the Google Drive tonight, and then
we'll
you guys
get a link
can follow.
You'll
follow along.
I'll put a link on all the relevant platforms to the Google Drive, and that's where we can put stuff in the future as well.
Yeah, that's actually even better, because you guys can follow around follow along. The problem is, I just noticed I had a typo, so like, I only see one, but don't come at me, okay?
I mean, it looks so beautiful. The chart looks so beautiful. I think we can let you off, Nick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate. Also, I did dark mode for everyone, so
yeah.
So you're welcome for the dark mode. I love dark mode. I'm dark mode hardcore.
I'm dark mode all the way.
Exactly. Change everything on my computer to dark mode.
Yeah.
So if you follow along and you go over to the left of you, which is big and bold and underlined so that you know it's important,
yes.
There are a few things you have to consider. So you have to consider your goals. So what you want, what your long-term idea or wish for your life is. You have to consider your journey. And your journey includes where you've been, the lessons you've learned, the defining moments of your life, and it includes your goals. It includes where you want to go. When you think of the hero's journey, which is a classic in literature, or you think of Star Wars and the hero journey and the way it applies to that, you kind of want that for yourself. You kind of want to understand, and it can be something as simple as, for me, I've discovered that sharing my anxiety has been really not only helpful for my anxiety, but helpful for other people. And I can talk about where I came from, what I'm working on now, how I hope to get better, and what I still have to improve on. So your journey can be anything, but it has to be something unique and specific to you, and it has to be true to you.
Yes.
Also, your values. A lot of us, we have strong values, but it takes us a second to list them out. And what I mean by that is we can say, oh, we believe in this, we care about this. But if you had to do a bubble chart on your values, and yes, I'm going to recommend a bubble chart for you guys, try it out. And I'll post maybe my value bubble chart. That'll be a little embarrassing, but maybe I can post that. But I recommend looking at different values, literally Google different values like courage, education, fitness, creativity, good sense of humor, and you bubble chart it. Because all of us want to believe we're the best ever, because we're us. So we want to be like, oh, that, and we choose everything. Yeah. But the fact is, some things are going to matter less. So pick only 5 big values to 10 big values, only 5 to 10, and put them really, really, really big. And then you can put stuff branching off of them. For me, responsibility is a big one, which means under that would be financial security, right? So you can, or kindness is a big one. And part of kindness is listening to others, accepting others, being open-minded. So you have these big headings and then put some under it. And this will help you kind of, I don't know. It's fascinating when you do this and actually look at it, because you can see ways that you've been living into your values, ways where you've been aligning with them. And the funny thing is, when I did this, I found out there were certain things I was doing that did not align with my values that were giving me anxiety, which is really interesting. When we go against our values, we tend to hurt. We tend to feel it.
I know. I absolutely agree with that. I didn't do this. I wish I had. But I have strong values about what I want. Have I ever gone against those on the stream? Probably. I'm a human being. But have I been as aware as I could have been if I'd actually mapped it out and taken a look and say, well, actually, Joe, you can be a bit arrogant sometimes. Actually, Joe, you do think you're always right sometimes, and sometimes you got to consider other people's opinions, stuff like that, which I do know. But have I gone against? So I try not to be like that sometimes, but I do stand up for myself. So, but had I written that down and actually probably taken a look at it, it probably would have happened less. Being honest, it probably would have happened less. Map it out. So I think that's really important. And the same with your goals and your journey. On what you say about your goals and your journey as well, is because a lot of people start building a community fairly quickly. Some people don't. Some people do. If you start building that community quickly, that's the community. So are you then going to suddenly say, oh, I've not really been doing this, and change everything? You're starting again. Because you weren't being true to yourself, or not necessarily that, just not quite going in the direction you wanted to. So if you've got a good idea in the first place, I didn't, but I don't know, maybe I rode my luck a bit, but maybe I just wasn't at the start. I just wasn't realizing the full potential of what I could have been doing. So far I'm 100% with what you say, Nick, on all of those.
Yeah, and I agree. map out your goals, write down your journey. I'm huge on getting everything out and visual, because when you try to hold all of that in your mind and you have all of these different things, like you're not going to remember, something's going to go missing. Write it down. I mean, you don't even have to write it. Obviously, I use the computer. Just something visual that you can see will help so much, because a lot of things we know subconsciously, and then when you write them down, when you have like a map of it, it's interesting, the shift in your mindset, the way you truly start to understand it, as opposed to just kind of knowing it in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
So I really encourage you guys to actually take the time to do this. Absolutely. Because streaming is hard work. Actually, that's something I wrote down. Streaming's not meant for everyone. You have to be likable, hardworking, and resourceful. And unfortunately, it's true. You have to be all of those things.
I mean, yeah, it is true. You never want to say like, and me and Nick are still learning. I'm certainly no, speaking for myself, I'm certainly no expert yet. But do I have experience of a year streaming? Yes. So are there things I would have done differently in retrospect? Yes. But would I ever want to say to somebody, it's probably not for you? Probably not. But would it be true in some cases? Unfortunately, yes, it would, because we can't all do the same thing. Like, life would be boring as well if we all did the same thing. And it's just not, it is just not made for everybody, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't make the best of if you try and have a go. But I think we spoke a little bit before about managing your expectations. Because the people that you are if you watch Twitch before you start going on Twitch, the people that you're watching have a community, right? Or big or small, they probably already have a community. So don't expect that will necessarily happen or happen fast. And even if it does happen pretty fast, there's still a lot of work to do, like a heck of a lot of work to do. So manage your expectations, but you can give yourself the best start with good planning, which is what we're talking about today.
100%. You absolutely can. You can give yourself a really great start. And you're right. It's unfortunate, but some people, not everyone can stream, but there's something out there for everyone that it sounds so cheesy, but like a calling or something that we're suited for. And so if it's not streaming for you, that's okay. But even if you're like, oh, well, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. Still give it a go. You can be an introverted extrovert. I believe that. So I'm pretty sure I am.
There's that is absolutely as ridiculous as it sounds. Like, because I say it, as ridiculous as it sounds, it is absolutely true. I'm just an idiot, but I like when I go out to a party. I like being in there and being life and soul and whatever. But a lot of the time I do like to be on my own. It's just when I'm at a social function, I let go. Even though sometimes it's weird because I suffer really badly with anxiety, but everybody's so different. And you're right, Nick. You can be a completely different person. Even though you're still yourself, but you might just have a different energy to you. You might find that when you stream, all your inhibitions go, and once you get comfortable with it, it's still you. You're just being yourself. It's just it's just a tool for enabling that side of yourself.
Certainly, and building confidence. And I'm the opposite end of the spectrum, so I can certainly speak to that. When I'm on stream or when I'm around people that I know well, I am loud. I like to make jokes, but like if I go to a party, I get weird. I don't talk. I just like kind of stay. I'm like, oh shit, I hope I have a friend here. And then the friend walks away and you're like, please come back.
Now I've got to speak to people.
I just
don't know.
Yeah, I just kind of like wander around like aimlessly, like I don't know, like a lost kid, or like go and like get a drink.
Or check out the record collection. Check out,
if there's a pet there, that saves my life. If there's a dog there, I like me and the dog are together.
I'll pet the dog all night if I have to.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah, if it means I don't have to like go out and talk to people, because I'm always like, I don't know. It's just But I mean, even if you have social anxiety, you can still stream, but you do have to be charismatic to stream, whether it's charismatic overall or charismatic just while you're streaming.
The charisma might be that you're quite dry and you don't get physically riled up, but then you say things that are really funny. Like I know a streamer that is really dry, and like you would watch his stream for a couple of minutes and maybe think, but then he'll come out with something, and because not even break a smile. And that for him, that is his character, and that's why people watch, because he is so funny.
Yeah.
People make this assumption that charisma is somebody who is out there, and like, it's not. It's just that they are a character. But
exactly, you're an entertainer as a streamer.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. For most people, that kind of stream would not work. Like, they wouldn't be able to pull it off. They can. Your character might be that maybe you're a bit edgy because that's who you are. So you say like stuff that is close to the bone. But on the whole, yes, you got to be out. You got to be a bit out there and talking, and you probably find that you probably find that you're pushing it at first, but you're not actually. You're just bringing that side out of you that is the side you are amongst your friends. But it's just because it's on stream, you got to push it a bit first. You might watch it back and think, well, no, actually, it's not really. I'm not being that weird or out there. That's how I used to feel a little bit. Maybe I felt like, wait, am I putting this on a little bit? And then I'd watch it back and I'd be like, nah, not really. If anything, it was not as out there as I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had that happen as well. And I think you bring up a good point. If you're more edgy, right? Like, go for an edgy stream. Like, the whole point of what we're talking about today is to take you and amplify it.
Yes.
Which is why I say that streaming's not for everyone. Some people do not have the personality you can amplify and go with streaming. Some people you amplify and maybe they'd be better off suited to like just being by themselves, sitting at a computer screen at night, drawing. Been there many times. But always give it a try. Always give it a try.
And I have seen streamers who are putting it on or suddenly trying too hard.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can tell. And that's, it's kind of like, it's not I wouldn't just go to random who I don't know very well and be like, well, it looks like you're trying a bit hard. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But you can see it and you're like, this is why you're not, they're the same people who will go on social media and they'll be like, not really growing. Sometimes with a bit of a disregard for the community they already have. Sort of saying, making out they're not happy because they're not growing. Don't get me wrong, we want to grow, of course. But some people don't have a community whatsoever, and they are trying. So one, be grateful of what you have, but you going back to the main point is, if you try, the other thing is if you try and be somebody else, it's exhausting. So it's exhausting anyway. So I couldn't imagine trying to be someone else.
You can't keep it up.
No.
Yeah. Which is why, we want to find out who we are. We really want to like focus on finding the core of ourselves and getting a little bit more clear on it. And it doesn't mean you don't change, because I've changed a lot. I've changed, my overall look of my stream. I've changed what I'm streaming.
Yeah.
It's okay to change, but like having a plan, a foundation to start with is going to put you way ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah,
don't think it's set in stone. Don't get too scared to write something down because you're like, if I write this value down, that's there forever. It's not. Values can change. Everything can change, but you need to know who you are as they change. You need to know who you are now and who you are in a month and a year.
Yeah.
So it's good to maybe do an audit,
Yeah. I think as well, with going back to writing stuff down, so I didn't do that, and I think I should have done. But going through it in time, I probably realized that actually my values that I want to stand for and that I think are important have probably got better through me talking about those values.
Yeah.
Whereas because you actually put it out there, which you can't really do if you're not already streaming. But if you wrote them down, you're doing it. You're kind of putting them out there, and it's like a reminder. And then maybe I've thought a little bit more. I'm still obviously me, but I've thought a little bit more about what I do and my behavior and what I consider to be acceptable. than I did before through talking about it, because people will ask me about situations or things that have happened in the stream.
Yeah.
So the more I think about this, the more I think it's really, really important. You've done a good job, Nick. You've done a good job picking up these points.
Thank you. I really believe the better you know yourself, the better not only streamer you're going to be, the better person you're going to be. I think a lot of us are a little bit, you become so focused on what you're doing, and we need to look a little more inwards.
Yeah.
And speaking, on the same note of values, another thing that I like a lot, and I'm hoping you guys will enjoy. So I wrote on here values and success metrics bubble map. Yeah. So you're going to do one for your values. The second one, which I'm really excited about, you're going to do almost like a chart. And on one side, you put your current metric of success. And on the other side, you put a better metric of success.
Right.
So what I mean by this is, let's say your current metric of success is how many followers you have. Mm-hmm. That's bad. You're never going to win that. You're never going to feel good if that's how you're measuring yourself.
Yeah.
But if your metric of success, if how you perceive whether you're successful or not right now is, are my followers, no matter how many I have, enjoying themselves? That's something you can do. That's something you can win.
Yeah.
Right. So we're changing instead of a third cup, we're getting a fourth cup or something, right? You're just changing how you are measuring things so that you can win, because sometimes you can't win. Sometimes we give ourselves like for example, is so-and-so proud of me? That's one that a lot of people do. Is my dad proud of me? Is my fiance proud of me? Whoever proud of me?
Yeah.
That's a bad metric of success. It just is.
Yeah.
Because then let's say you're in a fight with them, or they aren't proud of one thing you do. Totally rocks your world.
Yeah, of course
it shouldn't, because that's not who you are as a person, just because you did one thing, or just because one person disagrees with one thing you've done. Yeah. So then the better metric of success would be, okay, well, do I stand by what I did? Do I feel proud of myself?
Yes.
So I think so many people are judging themselves and measuring how successful they are in really crappy, unwinnable games. And we really need to think of better ways to do that, because if you don't, you're going to be kind of disappointed as a streamer a lot. If you're too worried about the numbers, if you're too worried about all of these things that you shouldn't be, there's so much better things to worry about that will help you feel happy and give you that steam to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Incredibly important. Because people, when they think metrics, they have this tendency to think about numbers.
Yeah.
They do. Some numbers you should be bothered maybe a little bit about. Some you shouldn't be so bothered about. And maybe how you interpret those numbers is more important. But certainly, certainly followers. And don't get me wrong, when I started out, I didn't really know what the metric was success. Again, something I probably should have thought more about. And I celebrated a 1, 2, and 3,000 follower. And then but which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
But when I hit 4, I was kind of it doesn't matter to me now.
Yeah.
I know people that have more than double what I have and have less, have a lower viewership. I know people that have a huge viewership but no community. It really is about what you want from your community. Numbers are only that. Their numbers are not people interacting with your stream necessarily. Yes, of course, sometimes they might be. And probably if somebody has 1 million followers, yes, they're probably pretty successful. But I know especially, and there are plenty of, and one of the biggest things with this is I've noticed there's a lot of Twitch partners who have actually gained Twitch partnership on the back of their YouTube account. Mm-hmm. Now, these people do tend to have a big following because they've had followers through being pushed through partner, but they're not doing so well in terms of community and viewership. But they have huge numbers for following because they've got people to do the token thing of I'm on here streaming, but I do videos on YouTube, and nothing wrong with that at all. And I do the same. But it really hits home when you see these people that these metrics are not important. And also, one thing I have always done without writing down, one thing I did always do and think about was, if people start going against what I believe to be true or right, or upsetting other people in the stream in any way, or just not in a general sort of behaving themselves in a way that doesn't go along with what my morals are, they're just gone. I just get rid of them. And don't ever, because you're just starting out or anything like that, stick to your principles with regards to who you let in there and who you let command that chat, because like, you people will respect you for doing that. And the people, it's going to start off with not lurkers, really. It's probably going to start off with people who want to be part of a community and they want to hear about you and they want somebody to talk to a lot of the time. And they see you, like, and then you're sort of just letting somebody off the hook, or somebody's acting like an arse, but you're not really doing anything about it, or they're just not generally in with the rest of like, they don't have the sort of personality the rest of the community has, and it's a bit of a bit of a sore point, and people don't get rid of them because they're worried because it's another viewer. Just get rid of them. Just do it. Just don't even think about it. I mean, if it's a behavioral thing, then maybe just a timeout. If it's clear that they are not, like, I had a guy in the very early days who came in, sub straight away, seemed to be great, was interacting with people. Then he started getting creepy with the female viewers, and it was just straight away. I was like, I did the right thing, because he'd been in for a while. I messaged him and said, look, I gotta say, I think you're being a little bit out of order. It's already gone too far as that I can't really say have a think about it. I'm sorry, you gotta go. Like, and he was so enthusiastic and good in every other way, and he was financially supporting also. But, and I needed the money at the time, but I thought, there's no way. I had to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, great. Very good point on metrics. And I think, again, mapping it out like this, incredibly helpful.
Yeah. And, you can look at the numbers. You can consider the numbers. Certainly celebrate the milestones. I am not saying don't celebrate them.
Yeah.
But if your happiness and your perception of yourself hinges on the numbers, that's a problem. That's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what we have next. Sorry, I'm like really tired today, so if I seem out of it.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
All right, so we've talked about values. We've talked about success metrics and how we measure our worth. Let's see. We also have our strengths and weaknesses. And you guys know I'm a big believer, and that's where the typo is. I'm a big believer in doubling down on your strengths. And so figuring out who you are, doing all of this work helps you to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are, and ask people who know you what your strengths and weaknesses are. Get their opinions on it. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. I know that my strengths are creativity and trying something new and being curious. My weakness, I'm messy and I have troubles keeping track of time. And I know that about myself. So I really double down. Like, if you look at my channel, people come back every week and we'll see something new, and we'll see how much I innovate and how hard I'm trying to make things look nice. Cause that is a strength of mine, is doing the creativity, doing the research to make new and interesting things.
Yeah. You
really want to double down on your strengths. A lot of people think you should shore up your weaknesses, and in some things you should, right? Like, if you're an artist, you want to shore up your weaknesses. Right. If you're bad at, drawing legs, you want to learn to draw legs.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with streaming, and when you want to stand out and you aren't building like a foundational skill base, like, you're just, this is you, this is your personality, this isn't a set of skills.
Right.
And you want to stand out. That's why don't work on your weaknesses, double down on your strengths. And I'm not saying don't work on your weaknesses at all, but make sure you're putting your strengths to the forefront, right? Like if you're, you know, if you don't talk a lot, but you want to talk more, that's a weakness you can work on. But at the same time, really consider those strengths. Really consider how you can make those shine so that people are less likely to notice the weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly.
And you stand out more because you're individual.
Yeah, and you can't just, you're going to be streaming soon when you're doing this planning. You're not going to be able to cure those weaknesses overnight. So yeah, you can work on them. It's going to take time, but think about what your pluses are. Yeah. And like Nick says, double down on that. I think that's pretty good advice. Yeah. Because your weaknesses you can work on, but it will take time. It'll take a few times of you looking back retrospectively and thinking, okay, that was a bit of a dick thing to say, or that behavior is probably not something I'm proud of. And it will take if it's a weakness, it will take a few times of you doing it, right?
To learn from it,
to learn, because we are human, and we have personalities, and they're not perfect, and you want to work on something, it's going to take a while. But if you're already good at something, then think about that and project it. Absolutely, certainly.
And the imperfect personalities, they're what make us interesting. Plus, exactly. I mean, to be quite frank, and hopefully no one takes this as depressing, you're going to spend your whole life shoring up weaknesses, working on weaknesses, because we are humans. Nobody's going to be perfect. And if you were, it'd be creepy and weird, and probably no one will want to talk to you, to be honest.
Don't listen to Nick. I'd talk to you. I know you're out there, perfect person, and I'm going to learn lots from you. I'm going to find you. I'm going to find the perfect streamer and prove Nick wrong. No, Nick's right.
No, they're going to be like oddly like stoic. Yeah, because like you can't do anything without messing something up. So they're just going to be like staring you dead in your soul. Perfect. And even that's an error.
Perfect
even
eyes.
That's like
they're going to have perfect eyes, perfect face, perfect teeth, perfect hair. Also, yeah, they're going to go visual.
Spoiler alert, it's a dog.
Yeah, it is just a dog. Don't because the dogs are perfect. They can't. Nothing is their fault. Nothing is their fault.
No, not at all. In fact, you wouldn't believe some of the things my dog's done to me, but they're still the greatest. That sounds really weird, so I feel like I should clarify. Yeah. I have had my dog get sick. It sounds like horrible when I just say it. No, I've had my dog get sick on me, like all over me while we were at the vet. And I had to stay at the vet without a change of clothes for like 2 hours because it was an important appointment. And they brought me like paper towels and stuff. And I was like, they were like, can we do anything for you? And I was like, unless you have a change of clothes, nothing is going to fix this. I just have to live with this and get home and shower.
Yeah, that was like, have some paper towels. That's $5.
I think the vet was like horrified for me because it was like, it wasn't sick this way. It was sick the other way. And it was just it was a disaster. But my dog is still perfect to me, no matter what.
I'm kidding about what I said, but by the way, I don't have a thing against vets. I think that they work hard for a very long time to get their qualifications, and they rightly earn decent money, as they should do.
Yeah,
and
they're
they
great.
Make our doggos better.
That's what I was when I said they're great. I was thinking like of Mocha's vets. They're really great. Yeah. Shout out to the vets out there.
Yeah, big shout out to the vets.
Maybe we need like a vet streamer.
Thank you for looking after our pets, because you don't get enough credits. I see the health service getting great credits, and rightly so. Yeah. But what about the vets as well? Let's get the vets in there as well.
Yeah, my vet's gonna get a Christmas present. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send her something nice.
The veterinary nurses who also love animals and have to see the terrible things every day, and they love animals. Thank you.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Fun fact: I wanted to be a vet like my whole childhood until I realized what that meant, and then I was like, I can't handle that. And
I'm gonna have to put dogs for a good reason down.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. I couldn't do that.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. No, fun fact, because I know
that doggo's looking up at you with the and it trusts you implicitly, and you got to put them down. I know I can't watch Marley and Me, so I'm not going to be able to put a dog down. So
so fun fact, because I know you all are going to know about this, but like the Overwatch trailer, a lot of you are going to know about it. The Overwatch trailer with Mei, where she has the little robot,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the robot runs out of energy. I cried twice when I watched that. And again, when I watched it the second time, because the robot, I know the robot came back, but
and it's a robot, not even a sentient being, and it's still upsetting.
I was so sad.
So how's it going to be with a dog? How's it going to be with a doggo? Oh my gosh!
Exactly. It's too much. Yeah. Too much. The doggos are perfect.
Let's move on before I get really upset.
I know. I'm like, I don't want to cry. All right. So let's see. So some of the strengths you could have, like you could be artistic, you could be logical, you could be organized, hardworking, honest, detail-oriented, empathetic. Like there are so many.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah. So really put some thought into those and think about what they are. They can be as simple as I make really good cakes and make some cakes on stream. I want to see it.
Yeah, why not? I'd like to see you make cakes on stream, Nick. Why haven't you made any cakes on stream yet?
I made a gingerbread house on stream. It was really cool.
You did with Snap
But it was
Daddy,
horrifying. Right? Yeah, it was horrifying because I made a gingerbread centaur. So I wanted to make a reindeer, and I didn't have any reindeer gingerbread men, so I tore apart other pieces of gingerbread men and glued them together like some kind of like human centipede.
I feel like my viewers would like to watch me bake a cake for the wrong reasons, but in a nice way, like to see how bad it came out, so they could ridicule me, which is fine. I feel like that's the reason they'd want to see me bake or cook. But they probably would like to see it.
I mean, I'd watch. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I want to see the cake. I want to see what happens.
Okay, I'll put all that in. That's got to be good. That's got to be good. That'll be fine.
It's salt and not sugar. Everyone's like, oh no.
What? 300 grams of sugar sounds a little bit like you're treading on my freedom. And I'm going to express. I'm going to express myself and put a bit more in because I'm not sweet enough.
I like it. The Joe cake.
Yeah. One day.
All right. Let's see. Please do. So personality traits. A lot of us know our personality traits, but again, getting it out there is good. One of my personality traits, I don't know if it's so much a personality trait, but it is part of my personality. I'm loud, and knowing that about myself, that's important because I'm not going to be one of those quiet, focused streamers. I get distracted by chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to be loud, and somebody who doesn't want someone who's loud and in your face isn't going to enjoy my stream. I need to know that. You want to know what personality traits you have. And then of course your hobbies and interests. And even if you're like, well, I'm interested in this, but I haven't done it in a while. Okay, that's okay. You can always get back into it. So write down the things that you're interested in, because you could make a stream around so many things. And it's just good to know, because you don't have to stick with, we're talking about cake baking streams. You don't have to stick with that. I'm doing a computer building stream on Friday, I think. And I sure as heck don't build computers, but it's gonna be fun. But I'm just interested in that stuff. So
you're gonna learn, and probably some people are gonna learn as well, right?
Yeah, and they're gonna get to pick on me, which will be fun.
yeah.
Because I'll be like, I don't want to break this.
And Snack Daddy will just be shaking his head probably for most of it, right?
I will say I do know, I know what the computer parts do. Yeah. But then when someone's like, oh, I have this specific computer part, I'm like, nice. No idea. I'm just like, cool, that's great. I don't know what the fuck that is. So yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm definitely watching the VOD if I can't see it live. I'm definitely watching that VOD. Definitely.
It'll just be everyone be like, what part? I actually had someone ask me, because I said I ordered a CPU on stream yesterday, and someone asked me what CPU, and I was like, I don't know.
Computer processing unit.
Oh no, I know what that is. I don't know which one I got. So I threw
you don't. Oh right, I was gonna say.
Yeah, because you have to fit it with it has to go with the motherboard, and then I didn't know what motherboard I wanted, and then you have to get the RAM to fit the motherboard. It's a whole thing. I was like, I need a new CPU. I don't know which one to get. I threw money at Snack Daddy and said, you pick it out. You do the research. He did. He did all the research, and he picked it out, and I trust him. So whereas if I order, I would get decision paralysis. So I can't. So I don't know what CPU I'm getting, but it'll be cool.
Well, the thing is as well, Snack Daddy's probably like me, right? So obviously he works in IT. Maybe he's not dealing with putting computers together all the time. So after a while, stuff changes, and this is the same for me. I qualified in the same field of work, but every time I build a new computer, and I build them reasonably regularly because I build them for my friends and stuff, I still have to do research and check. So there could be a lot of scope there for people who have, even people who know how to build a PC, because they are the technology is so. One thing that is sure with technology, that it changes so fast that there are things you don't know about, and that I may learn that even though I built mine fairly recently, that's compatible with that, or I didn't think about doing that. But I think that'd be really interesting, and it's a good point for what we talk about in streaming, that maybe you're really good at that, and maybe you can explain it better than a lot of people. There may be a different dimension for this, where you are actually, you want to stream games, but maybe you are really up to date on tech, and you literally read about tech all day, every day, and you know everything about it. And so one day you could put a spit on it where you are an expert putting it together. You are an expert doing that. And this is the point, though. Nick knows a lot of stuff, but she's not an expert on building computers. So it's a different way of looking. It's going to be a different type of content.
Yeah.
But
and if you're interested in anything that's a hobby, do something with it. When you want to learn something and do it on stream, you're taking people on a journey. If you already know something and want to do it on stream, you're educating people.
Right.
I mean, figure out what you're interested in, because you can do something with it, guaranteed for most things. If it's illegal, no. But other than that, you're pretty good.
Don't fire a gun on stream. Don't get your titties out. Don't.
It's messed up, because that's happened. All of that has happened.
Nobody wants to see your bleached arsehole. Well, actually,
whoa, don't speak for me, good sir. I don't want to. Please, God, do not send me photos.
Wait, no, I can't. That's not fair. I can't speak for everyone on that one. But don't do it, because it's against.
But me personally, I personally don't want to see it. Though. It was a joke. Don't send that to me. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna do that now.
Don't send models of your, don't send replicas that you've made a set of your rectum to to Nick's PO box, because
please, God, don't. I would die.
Nick's PO box, by the way, is her PO box is Nick Levels Up, Charleston 6969, right?
I like it. It's perfect.
That's basically it. 6969.
Fun fact, it's exactly it.
Sorry, Nick, I've just doxed you. You're gonna get all sorts through the post now, all to do with the butthole. Just because you said that.
It's it could have been any. No, what I really want to see is dogs. Send me your dogs.
Nick said
send me your dogs, but not your real dog.
Pictures of doggos all day.
Pictures
of doggos all day.
Please do, seriously. Anytime someone's like, I have a dog, I'm like, get in my Discord and post their face. Don't say another word until you have.
Nick's at the door. Nick's at the mailbox welling up, and Snack Daddy wonders what's going on. It's just pictures of doggos.
Oh my gosh, I really would. Dogs are the best. See, and that's a hobby and interest of mine, and my dogs appear a lot on my stream. Also, I was thinking of doing a dog stream sometime, so you can make a stream out of anything, mostly.
Doggo camera when?
I actually did do a dog cam once, and it was really cool. The problem is so I can get my dogs to sit in an area by encaging them in.
Yeah,
and I don't want to have to do that for the whole stream.
Otherwise, they
just fuck off. Yeah.
There's a streamer called Smoothie Smooth. He's American, but he lives in Japan. Mario Maker streamer, really nice guy. He has cat cam, and it's his lap. Which is fine.
I love it.
But it's obviously he only shows it when the cat's on there, because otherwise it'd be a bit weird. Right?
Otherwise it'd be real awkward.
But it's
you're just making eye contact with it.
But he's pretty chill. And he'd never startle the cat or anything. So the cat just happily just chills on his lap, like your doggo does, I guess.
Aww. Yeah, I have a dog with me constantly, chilling on so Mocha will chill on my lap. Harvey he's his own man. He's gonna go and do his own thing. So no dog cam, unfortunately, because I don't want people staring at my lap. It'd be weird. Plus, I'm always wearing pajama pants and sometimes boxers. So
I don't wear pants. I don't wear pants for streaming.
Literally pantsless. I'm just waiting for someone to like scare you and you get up and everyone just sees your ass.
Yeah, that would be that
just
would,
like bright and shiny
right,
in the
right,
middle
you
of the
imagine,
screen.
oh my gosh, can you imagine? That would be terrible. Like nobody would like. The problem is there are people that probably would, like in that context. So I'm not actually not wearing pants, by the way. But how do you know? You don't.
Exactly.
You'll never know. You'll never know, and I get quite a bit of satisfaction out of the fact that you'll never know. Never know.
I like it. Let's see what else we have. Try to navigate my chart in the most intuitive way.
You're doing good, Nick.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're doing
that.
a good job.
Interestingly enough, under hobbies and interests examples, I put building battle stations. Seriously, that would be a 6th stream. Painting models, exploration. Like literally, you can go explore stuff outside, explore stuff inside on the computer. I always thought it'd be cool to do a learn with me stream, but I don't know how I'd execute it. But like, it's been in the back of my mind. Writing, if you like writing.
Do you know what? I saw somebody with a sofa, aka a couch, in their like in the back in their stream room. And I thought one day, you ever built a fort out of that couch? like you know, when you're a kid and you build like a couch fort, like you make a den out of it, as we call it.
Yeah.
Like build all the cushions up. Like I thought, do you know what would be great content if he actually just turned around now and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make a fort out of my sofa."
Build the fort.
Nobody would click away. They'd be like, "This guy's nuts."
Oh yeah.
This guy's nuts. But
I love it.
But actually, he's not that nuts because I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, that's amazing. It'd be amazing. And I've actually talked to Snack Daddy about like, I want to build a quarantine fort, but I haven't done it yet because like I want to go all out. I wanted to be serious. I wanted to be structurally sound. Like when you're a kid, you like pin shit to the wall. No, I want a serious fort.
Right.
And so I don't know, maybe I'll stream it because I have talked about doing like a pajama sleepover stream too. It won't literally be a sleepover because I can only stay awake for so long. But you know, something like that.
You want to be careful with that. I've seen the pajamas that some of you out there wear.
Mine are hideous. They aren't revealing. They're just, it's like, how long have you had those and why? So
yeah, I know. I'm of like, don't get me wrong. I'm a man, and that's fine. But like at the same time, pajamas are just kind of for chilling in, aren't they? Like just an opinion.
They have to be cozy. I agree with the opinion. I don't know anyone out there who's like, I wear lingerie to be comfortable. And if you do, like you don't know comfort. Like we're about to change your life.
I've seen people share themselves on Facebook in lingerie sets, which is fine, by the way. And you can tell they are so uncomfortable. Not with the photo, because they're clearly not uncomfortable about that, but they are uncomfortable with like they're not comfortable, and it's like, oh yeah, I'd sooner you were comfy. Yeah, keep the slippers on. I'm feeling I'm feeling crazy tonight. Keep the slippers on.
Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like lingerie is kind of like the way that I do makeup, which is I put it on for stream. It's not my favorite. Like lingerie, like people, they put it on. For me, it's makeup. I put it on for stream. It's not my favorite. It's not as comfortable as no makeup. And as soon as I'm done with the time frame that I need to wear makeup, I take that shit off. And that's lingerie. You put it on for the intended purpose, and then you immediately take it off because you don't want to be wearing it.
Which is obviously glamour shots that your best friend's taking of you for your Tinder profile.
Yeah, you need a best friend like that. You do.
Not you, Nick, but that's obviously the intention that people do it for.
Yeah. You need a best friend who can rep you like that, though. But everyone does.
This is the thing, and like when I became single again, or like those years ago, and I had no idea about what this world was, like, who do you get to take your pictures? Because I'm not that bothered about having my picture taken. I won't go out my way So sometimes there's been a period of time before you've had a picture, or at least one where that's not like you like throwing a drink in the air like at somebody's wedding, or you're all sweaty, or so like obviously I'm at like it's seen, I guess, and as like I wouldn't get my male friend round to like like, dude, I need some glamour shots for Tinder because I've got nothing right now that I can work with. Whereas like obviously this is a stereotype, of course, but obviously like for most females it's like, oh, they just get their friend to do it. My sister,
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've got some female friends that I definitely would would be different. And it's just weird. Like I don't even know why I feel like that, to be honest, because it's nothing. It's just taking a picture. But I would think there's a lot of males out there that probably do the same, and probably maybe they're not getting their best shots out there. You know, maybe we need to change. Absolutely. Maybe we need to change that. You know, the girls are using filters. They're getting their best friends round. They're taking the glamour shots. And you've got like a picture that you've cropped your friend out of, but your mate's arm's still on your shoulder. And you're at a wedding, and it's kind of okay because you're dressed up, but the lighting could be better. They've not got your right side, and you're not looking your best. And maybe that needs to change. Maybe it's okay. I'm saying it's okay to be masculine and get your friend round to take some pictures for your profile. That's okay.
I agree. I want to see the photos. I'm curious.
Maybe I'm comfortable with that. You know, maybe it's something I've thought about, and you know, I'll break through that taboo. Maybe.
It feels like there's someone in particular you want to ask, and I'm hoping this is a breakthrough and that they get a text right after this. And they're like, I was waiting. Like, I knew.
Just. Yeah, anyway.
Joe got quiet. There is someone.
No, there's no.
He's like backspacing the text under his desk right now. He's like, shit.
No. There was no in particular. You know, maybe somebody that's tall enough to get decent light, you know, like get a decent angle. Because I was taught by a girlfriend of mine. They were always like, oh, take a picture of us. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, and they're like, no, you need to hold the camera up. You need to get it from a higher perspective. I'm like, I'm 5.
And the good side.
Like I'm 5'11". If I lift my arms up, how high does it need to be? Like, they're like, no, it needs to be high. You're not taking it right. It needs to be high. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I've got a friend who's 6'9", so maybe I could get him to take the pictures, and they'd be freaking rad.
I think they'd be amazing, and I want to see them. You can even put like a black and white filter on them, really class them up. But it's funny because we were talking about like, you know, getting Tinder profile pics, and not that we did this for Tinder, but I did go through a really bad breakup, and my sister came through for me and did a whole fucking photo shoot for me. I'm not kidding. She was like, go get in the car. We're going to the store. I got new clothes, and she did a whole photo shoot.
You're going to put your glide rags on. We're going to get all your best angles.
Yeah. She really did. She's the best at getting my angles. Snack Daddy, and he's like, I'm like, cool. And as someone who actually hates photos, like, I like when someone can't get my good angle. It's just.
Did you fix your hair? Is that what's different? Like,
yeah, he did get like one fire photo of me, like one really good. He was like, "Keep tilting your head down," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm basically like just double chinning it, and it was actually a really good photo. So I feel like he has potential. We just need to.
Yeah,
males can take good photos too.
Yeah. You just need
don't let anybody tell you different.
Just a little bit more coaching on that, and
practice. Yeah.
Next thing you know, he'll be like taking
the best photo,
massive DSLR out and taking pictures of wildlife and like.
I'll get like a call from Vogue off of like a photo that Snack Daddy did, but then they'll see me in real life and they're like, yeah,
it's Vogue. We've been talking to your fiance, and no time to explain. He's come straight to Milan. He's got a new job basically. We've signed him on the spot, and he's shooting for Vogue. He's shooting the cover for Vogue in Milan tomorrow. So we thought we'd let you know because he doesn't have time to tell you.
Oh, well, that's why I didn't see him this morning. I have no fucking idea where he is.
He's in Milan.
He's gone.
He's like probably flying like somewhere over me now on his way to Milan.
Yeah, that's good to know. I was worried. I was worried. I was like, again? How many months is it going to be this time? I miss that guy. All right. Let's see what else we have.
You're going to have to call your sister up.
Yeah, no, I really am. Because as a streamer, just quick aside, you got to up your Instagram game as streamers, and my sister's going to help me do that. So
yeah,
prepare for fire Instagram
that's a good point.
posts.
I find like what I found was I should have started my Twitter. I already had a sort of Instagram account, which I probably don't put as much effort into it as I should, but I have actually had to have people come in the stream from that. Like, it's happened. So,
oh, wow.
So yeah. Like, I'm not saying it's loads, because it's not.
Yeah.
And also, but later on, I found out that the Mario Maker community, especially on Twitter, is massive. And I never posted on Twitter, and I never really. I made sure I got my handle, like the Joe Tendo, so like I had it, but like, and then suddenly I realized they're posting about Mario Maker on there all day, every day, and I'm like, I'm trying to get into it now, and it's like, dude, why didn't I do this like when I started? This is. I'd have like so many more people would just, even if they're not going to come on stream, they'd know what I did, or they'd know, they'd be like, oh, if they hear me again, it's like, oh yeah, Joe, yeah, I see that guy on Twitter and he talks to these guys, and yeah, incredibly important.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. All the stuff we're talking about today can be applied to everything. For example, like Instagram, my colors are yellow, and it'd be really cool if I did like yellow. I do still want to do this. I just have no idea how to do photography, really. Like, but you know, you'll see those really nice curated Instagrams, which is on my list to learn. Where they have like a theme color and like their own custom filter and all this stuff. Yeah. And so like once you have your brand personality, that stuff becomes so much easier. Your Twitter, the tweets that you write become easier. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all done for you.
It's helpful for everything.
It's
YouTube
already.
Can be used, I mean, every which way you can think of.
Yeah.
All right. I did want to mention I plan to gather content for a later episode on goals and organization and metrics of success, so that we could talk about good goals and what your goal should be as a streamer and just all sorts of stuff. I'll share my Trello board, because I have a Trello goal board for every month, and then 1 year, and then 5 years. So stuff like that. It's interesting. I think the 5-year had podcasts on there, and it's like, oh, well, that's done. but yeah, so we'll do an episode on that at some point.
We're coming at you from the future. Forward thinkers, clearly.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
All right. So once you have all of this planned out and really go through the list, really do put some effort into it, because it dictates a few different things. For one, it dictates your squad, which is what a lot of people call your tribe. I like squad better, so that's what we're doing.
I think I prefer your squad.
Yeah, I like squad. Yeah. Squad is cool, right? Like they rep you. So I know we've talked about this before. You know, not everyone is meant to connect with you. You don't want to appeal to everyone. Focus on being known for a thing and not everything. And you can be known for multiple things, but like, you know, again, you don't want to try to please everyone. You don't want to confuse your audience and kind of not be a person, right? You're kind of just bending over backwards and being whoever that person at the moment wants you to be, and you're kind of being everyone, and that's not the goal of today's podcast episode. So when you know more about who you are, then you can decide who your squad's going to be, because it's not going to be everyone. It's just not.
Absolutely.
Your squad is more than just subs and follows. It's more than just subs and follows. It's the other streamers you collab with, right? Like when you collab with a streamer, you want them to have a similar mindset. You want to enjoy spending time with them and hanging out and talking that's important. You do not want to collab with someone who you're like, fuck, I have to talk to this person again. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You're going to burn out and die inside every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be a disaster. So you have your other streamers, you have Twitch. You are collaborating with Twitch. Twitch is part of your squad. You want to think about what you're doing and if it will make Twitch happy or not, especially if you want to get partner.
Yeah.
If you're out there showing your titties, you know, Twitch doesn't like that, and you're going to get in trouble. Yeah. So they're part of your squad.
Cleavage only.
Hardware companies and exactly.
Unlimited cleavage, but no underboob.
Like at what point is it just all? I don't know. Okay.
It's a gray area. It
is a very gray area. I don't know when it falls from. That's not cleavage anymore. But yeah, hardware companies, software companies, they are part of your squad.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to rep certain companies, and other companies I am not going to want to mess with. So you have to think about all this. Who aligns? Your mods are definitely a big part of your squad. Your artist that you hire, you want an artist who is, you know, like, for example, I like to be kind and friendly and artistic. I want to find an artist who I can give and trust with artistic freedom, and who is going to be nice and friendly and kind in return, and communicate with me. So like, your squad is just so much more than your subs. It's so much more than your followers. It is literally everyone you need to interact with to make your streaming dream come true. So when you know who you are, that's easier. That's easier to figure out who you do and do not want to interact with. So that's your squad. That's your squad. And you can even give them a fancy name. Mine's the Knit Click. So there you go.
That is a good name.
I was waiting for you to say what yours is. Is it? Thank you.
Thank you. The problem with mine is we keep trying to come up with one, because people want one, and we don't.
I'm gonna think of one, and I'm gonna like message it to you. It's gonna be something stupid probably, but
that's fine. I'm happy.
Is it weird that I want it to be like Joe Tenders, and then you just have like everywhere?
Well, we did discuss tenders. It
sounds cute. I'll say that. It does sound cute. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll think of something.
I'll think of something. Yeah, I feel like, because I am literally like within an average of 2 viewers to apply to making the first partner application.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should have one.
Do it at the same time. Yeah.
I don't know.
You can announce it when you get partner. That'll be cool.
Well, yeah,
like, we're partner, and now this is who you are.
Yeah, you don't necessarily get it first time, as you know, but
no, yeah, it can take a few times.
Yeah,
but I believe in you. I believe in you. If you don't get it this time, you will get it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see what we have. Okay, so along with your squad is your squad's demographics. And you know what's interesting? I feel like certain demographics do not matter as much on Twitch. Location doesn't matter as much. It matters a little bit, right? Because there's different cultural expectations.
Yeah.
Different words mean different things. Like, you can't say the C word unless you're in like Australia. You know, I don't really understand why. I even said the C word because like I'm comfortable saying it, but like I said it one time on stream and someone called me out, and I was like, oh, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they say it like a greeting over there. But so you have to kind of know like location a little bit. But
yeah,
the big ones are age group. You want to know your demographics age group, because I am not kid friendly, and that's important for me to know. And you know, I have like the 18+ warning. I have that I do not use kid friendly words. So you really want to, again, you don't want to appeal to everyone. If I'm trying to appeal to both kids and adults who want like a chill stream, it's just going to get weird.
Yeah.
It's just going to get weird. So gender as well is something to think about. Are you appealing mostly to males? Are you appealing to females? Are you appealing to both? Which I, of course, think most people are going to want to appeal to both. But, you know, like, let's say your style channel for men. You want to help men figure out how to buy suits and stuff. Like, okay, well, then your demographics, you know, obviously not women. I mean, some women, right? You know, like, there's a bigger graphic than just men there, obviously.
There must be the odd thing. I mean, the only thing I can really think about is maybe some comedy that is like, because some people do like to, the problem with comedy is you can very easily offend a lot of people, but that's not what comedy's about. And, you know, growing up, my mum used to go to shows for female comedians that were women only, right? They were women only.
Yeah.
Like, because they were gonna joke about and trash men, basically. Like, in their art form, not to be not to be taken seriously. But I guess that happens occasionally. But I guess on the whole, why would you cut off 50% of the population? Like, but yeah, I mean, it would be very rare, certainly, that you'd want to do that.
It's very rare. But I figured I'd bring it up just in case, because there's an interesting
no, you're absolutely right.
Demographic there for men.
If you are doing something out there, then. But then again, as well, if you are a titty streamer, probably your audience is going to be mainly male, and probably you're going to want to cater to the male audience. So it really is a valid point.
Yeah. So it's just something to consider, you know. it's just a good thing to have in the back of your mind. Personally, gender doesn't apply to my channel. It won't apply to most, but it is a thing to consider.
Yes.
And then of course values, which the values of your demographic are probably going to be really close to your values, because if you are like including your values in your stream and living by your values, people with those same values are going to be attracted to you.
Yeah.
That one, you know, isn't so much that's more of you work than anything. Their lifestyle, right? You want to know your demographic schedule. If you're gonna stream a kid-friendly schedule, you do not want to stream while they're at school, right? And then location might factor in, because you need to, like, if you're like, I want to stream mostly to like America or Europe, then you need to know school times. But you know, lifestyle is a big thing. If you want to stream to, you know, older adults who are working, maybe weekends are best.
Yeah.
Also, you know, spending habits are included in lifestyle, which is important because maybe that'll help you determine what kind of sponsorships you want to take, right? Like if you're doing an art stream, you might not want to do sponsorship for like Red Bull or something. So that's something to consider.
And if you were streaming to mainly sort of like kids under like 12 who are watching with their parents, then you're probably not going to want to encourage stuff like sugary snacks and foods and like definitely worth considering. You don't want
to take like a cigarette sponsorship for doing that. So like you have to know their lifestyle and spending habits to a degree, you know. Emotional state, right? You need to know your audience's emotional state. So, and that's another rare case, kind of like gender. But let's say you're doing anxiety or mental health streams, you have to really consider their emotional state with what you say. So you really have to know their demographics, because that's going to factor into you as a streamer.
Employment, if they're not well at the time, you know. As we know, some people are so high functioning and they feel terrible, and some people can't get out of bed. And you got to be considerate when you're thinking about talking about that. You can't make assumptions about that sort of thing. But knowing or finding this kind of information out, not trying to pry or you know, but these things will come out as you talk to them and integrate the community. If you know where to tread more carefully, perhaps not change what you what you say necessarily, but have a little bit more of a think about it and the way in the direction that you're taking.
And then media consumption is another. This one I think probably applies maybe the most, other than age group. So media consumption and platform usage, right? Like if the people you're streaming to are not on Twitter, you're wasting your time on Twitter. If the people you're streaming to are not on Instagram, you're wasting your time on Instagram. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And some of this will come out as you stream. Like you don't have to spend a lot of time on demographics, but you should kind of have a general idea of what kind of person you want to attract. Because I think that's good to keep in mind, because then you know how to gear your content. So again, this goes back to your squad. Just know your squad. You know, think about who you want to attract and spend time with. There's like this thing in business. It's like make your ideal friend, they say. So like ideal friend, ideal follower, ideal sub, ideal consumer. And you're like, you give them a personality and you give them a name and you pretend you are talking to them. And that's really helpful for a lot of people.
I think
that's really helpful for a lot of people.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, because the people that make up my community on the whole are people like that have similar outlooks and views and morals to my friends. So obviously pretending you were talking to them to begin with is going to attract that sort of people. It's a really good point.
Certainly. Let's see what else we have. So actually, we're about to get to boundaries too. I just wanted to touch on that like really fast. You know, I mentioned earlier, don't confuse your audience. And I have like a little side note here. So try to convey a clear, consistent image. And if you're doing multiple things, make that dividing line as clear as possible. So by figuring out who you are and narrowing these things down, it doesn't mean you can't do different things. I can do gaming streams and I could do lifestyle YouTube, but like you want to not muddy the waters. You don't want people to be confused about what you're doing. You want to make it clear, like, oh, this is my lifestyle YouTube. This is my gaming channel. Like you just want to come across as a clear, organized person, and you want to make it as simple as possible for your squad to understand what you're doing so they can connect with you and want to get on board. If they don't know what's going on, they're just going to want to find something else, because they don't know what's going on.
Right.
So, you want to ask yourself, will my audience understand what's going on? Does it make sense? You want to put yourself in their shoes and kind of see things from their perspective. And you also want to make sure you know your boundaries, your do's and your don'ts. You want to know yourself so that you know those boundaries, and that connects back to values.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the last thing about the squad is you want to solve their problem. And you're probably thinking, what problem are people having that I can solve on Twitch? Boredom, companionship, socialization, recognition. Some people want to donate and be recognized. Education, you can educate other people on video games or the way to play something. There are so many problems you can solve on Twitch. So think about that. For me, mine's pretty much boredom and companionship and socialization.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people just need to hear something from someone else that they already know sometimes, like just somebody else to reinforce that. You can definitely help them. You got to be careful about people using the stream as a counseling service, because that's not what it's about. Obviously, because of my position and my health and stuff before, I'm very sympathetic of that sort of stuff. But you can try, when people are just a bit, they're normally not quite themselves or something's happening, you can help them a little bit. Don't become the counselor, of course, because you're not qualified to do that. That's not a counseling stream. But absolutely, you can help. You can help. And the majority of the time, it is going to be boredom, or they're looking for something to do. So you're helping them.
Certainly.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, a problem doesn't have to be something that's like, super out there. It could be something as little as, I don't know, I'm bored while I'm eating lunch and I want someone to entertain me. That's a problem. Because otherwise you're just going to sit there like, eat your sandwich.
There are no problems. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah. So it is considered a problem, even if it doesn't seem like a problem at first glance. It's what can you help them with? Can you help them to be more entertained? Can you help them to find a community where they can connect? Can you recognize them when they donate so that they feel like someone is noticing them, which feels really good to them? That's something that might be important to them. So kind of figure out what it is your audience is looking for, what it is that they want from you. What can you provide for them? And it doesn't have to be anything life-changing. It doesn't have to be anything major or big. It could be just being kind, right? Their problem might be that they don't have enough kind people in their life and they want someone to be kind. So figure that out. Maybe you educate them. Maybe you teach them how to be a pro at League of Legends. That's a problem a lot of people want solved. So, so there you go. All right. So we've talked about you, and all this goes back to figuring out your why. Why are you doing this? What problem are you solving? So why I do this, to spread awareness for social anxiety is part of the reason I'm doing this, to put myself out of my comfort level, to have fun, to bring people fun. Like there's so many reasons why we're doing this. There's obviously a reason why you guys are watching this and why you want to stream or listening to this. So you want to figure out why. You want to figure out your voice, which comes from knowing yourself, and you want to figure out your story, which also comes from knowing yourself. Because people love stories. They love stories, and that's where the journey thing comes from again. Figuring out your journey and the story of you. So I think that's it for you though. And then we get into how that influences you. So after you've done all that work, which is the big bulk, the rest is a much easier thing to deal with, I promise.
Because everything is planned and it all interlinks anyway.
It's all about you. Like you are building the foundation. The stuff that goes on top of it is so much easier. The stuff I'm about to talk about is so much easier, but the foundation of you has to be there. And then the stuff is easy. If not there, this stuff is really, really hard all of a sudden. So who you are, all of that stuff we talked about, your squad, solving their problem, the demographics, everything goes into your content. Right? So like if you're streaming for kids, you don't want to stream like maybe adult games. So, you want to figure out what to stream. So you want to stream something you like, you want to stream something that your audience will like, and then you have some decisions to make. So like trends versus classics. Maybe if you're streaming to an older audience and you love classic games is for you and it's perfect. And that's what you need to be doing. So there's oversaturation. So, no matter what you love, try not to pick oversaturated games. And I know it's hard, especially if you really love that game, but you're just going to set yourself up for a loss right there. I hate to say that because I do want you to be able to stream it. I love World of Warcraft. I'd love to be able to stream that, but like,
no,
it's not going to go well.
It's just so oversaturated. And
it is.
And yeah, and there will be something that you love playing that's not oversaturated. There will be.
Certainly.
There will be.
Yeah. And then of course there's new releases, sales. When a game goes on sale, playing that game will help other people decide if they want to purchase that. Sometimes when I'm about to purchase a game and I don't know if I want it, I watch somebody else play it, and that helps me. Yeah. So if something goes on sale, play that and then let people know, hey, this game is on sale. Big streamer overspill is one that a lot of people don't think too much about.
Yeah.
If there's a game that only has, and this goes back to viewers versus channels. So if there's a game that only has 3 channels and the top channel has, I don't know, 4,000 people, the next 2 channels probably have next to nothing. But if you are streaming that game, some people are not going to want to be in that channel where there's a lot of people because they aren't going to be heard. They aren't going to be able to talk, but they want to watch that game. So you're going to get some overspill from that. So that's something you could do if you notice it. It's a little bit more tactical. Make sure you still like the game, though. People will know if you don't.
Absolutely. I've had people when I've streamed like Super Mario Odyssey or Super Mario World, and they'll say, "Oh, you're first streaming this, or you're second streaming this," you know, and it's like, and I get people come in who probably wouldn't have found me on Mario Maker. Absolutely,
and it's a good way to get them to come in. They follow, and then they come back, and then they see what else you guys are doing. Variety versus single games, which is its whole own topic.
Hang on a second. Hang on a sec, Nick.
Yeah,
hang on a sec. I think it might be okay now, but it just freaked out a little bit. Your video. It's gone all weird. Is it good now? Let's the audio's fine. I'll call you back. Hold on, I'll call you back.
Okay.
I'm calling.
Weird. It's not popping up for me.
Oh.
Wait, it says. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think I have it. It was like hiding at the top. I didn't know it did that. Usually it pops up like right in the middle of the screen, but it was just like a bar across the top, so it was sneaky.
I can hear you twice again.
Oh, right. Is that better?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
All right, are we good to go?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait. I don't know where it cut out.
I literally stopped you as soon as it was cutting out, basically.
Perfect. Thank you.
So it doesn't really matter. I told you straight away.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. So just carry on. It doesn't matter if you go over something again. It doesn't matter. I'll edit it. Fine.
Perfect. So variety versus single games, which is a big topic in and of itself. Personally, I think that they both have their advantages and disadvantages. They just do. And so I would do whatever feels true to you. If you feel like you can play the same game, you know, the advantage is that you're more likely to grow a community more quickly. The disadvantage is that they might not follow you if you switch games. And then variety streamers, it's going to be a little more slow going. You're going to pick up a few viewers for this game, a few viewers for this game. They might not come back, but if they really enjoy you, they'll come back no matter what you're playing. So there's just, I mean, I would really just go with whatever feels true to you on that one. I would not worry about what's best, because if you aren't enjoying something, people are going to know. So
exactly.
I like variety because I get bored really easily, and I'm not good at any one particular game, so that wouldn't work for me anyways.
Yeah.
Whereas Joe's really good at Mario, so he can actually stick with a game.
I wasn't.
I have none.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. I wasn't, but the game was not, because the first one was on the Wii U and not many people had it. There was a lot of people keen to watch but didn't have it. It wasn't saturated at all. So
which is like the one exception to that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was, and that's how I got away with being not great to begin with. That's how I got away with it, because there weren't that many people doing it, and a few of them, a few of them that were doing it were not huge, and they were just some of the original people. And they got in at the right time. So I saw a gap when I looked at the other streamers, and I thought, there's nobody like me on there. You can decide for yourself whether that's a good or bad thing. But there was nobody else. So I was like, and I loved the game. So I was like, from what I'd seen, I loved it. So that's what I
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think you can certainly make it work, especially if you're an entertaining person. You could pretty much make most things work. I don't want to say anything because oversaturated games are still going to be hard for you.
Yeah.
But you know, if maybe talking isn't your strong suit and you want to stick with one game, probably gonna have to be pretty good at it, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna have to be, if you're not gonna talk. So the guy I told you about who was dry,
yeah,
he doesn't talk much, but he is dry and he is funny. But the thing is, he is incredible at the game. Like, he is just incredible at the game. So, like, one of the tops. So, it is what it is.
And we'll talk about streamer types, and that'll definitely. Did I put that? Yeah, I put that on the list. Good. Let's see. Non-gaming. So there are non-gaming things you can stream. So your content could be non-gaming. It could be educational. It could be creativity and crafts, cooking, chatting, lifestyle journey.
Yeah.
Literally anything you can think of.
Yeah.
Unless it's TOS. Like you could do yoga streams, workout streams. I mean, I can't think of anything that's like TOS friendly that you couldn't do. Honestly, you could stream anything.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to want to watch it. Like, I really think that's the future of streaming, is that it's not just going to be games. It's going to be everything.
You look how many, they started popping up on my homepage. I don't know why. You look how many fitness streams that are now on Twitch, seeing as people can't train with their gym partners, but they can go, they've got their home gyms, and then they can put somebody up on Twitch, and it feels like they're working out with somebody, not just watching a video back, like those exercise videos. They're actually training with somebody, and they can ask questions along the way, because between like sets when they're working out, they'll answer questions. They'll look at chat while they are doing their recovery, while they're having their breather, and they'll answer questions. And I thought, I hadn't even thought about it, but it's such a good idea. Like, it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And then COVID comes along, and it's like the gyms are shut, and it's exploded. It's crazy. There's so many now. There's so much more to Twitch than games.
I'm kind of mad because Twitch is not recommending me any workout streams, and I need them to. They're recommending me like DJing streams, and I'm like, this is cool, but I need to get in shape.
They were recommending them. Well, they were.
Back out.
I say they weren't in the recommended section. They were on, like, you know, the carousel of the top on the front page.
Yeah, those are like DJs for me.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I got fitness. I don't know why. I'd never been anywhere near a fitness stream or anything like that, but
I'm gonna start like compulsively Googling fitness streams and like searching around on Twitch for fitness streams so that it'll start giving me those.
Yeah.
Damn it, algorithm! Help me get in shape.
Yeah, come on, Twitch.
For real. What else do we have? So the numbers and stats, because I know we have to talk about it. There are things like Sully Gnome. There are things like Twitch Strike. You can find websites that will help you decide what game is best numerically and statistically. But numbers can lie. Just because the game has a lot of people, I mean, maybe it's only just one channel and nobody else wants to watch another channel. Like, numbers are only a small part of the picture. Do not get sucked into streaming based on numbers and stats.
Yeah.
It's okay to look at and keep it in mind, but it's not going to work out the way you think it is, because it's not as straightforward as this is a high ranking thing, so it's good to stream, because that's not the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much consideration that goes into, you know, if you are going to look at the numbers and stats, you have to consider so many things, because again, they're not straightforward. They're just one piece of the picture that can be put into quantifiable numerical data. See, I say data, but then
Americans say data. English people say data. It's fine.
Actually, Snack Daddy says data, and I start to say it because he says data. I don't like it. Data sounds weird.
I've gotten over you abusing the English language. It's fine.
Oh, okay. That's good enough. You don't want to hear me say buried then, or won. I say won. I won the game. Buried. I buried something in the yard.
Oh no.
That's not an American thing. That's a me thing. I disagree with the word buried on a fundamental ethical level, because bury is a thing you eat. So if you buried, it just makes no sense. And it has a U, not an E.
I do understand that.
Thank you. No, because nobody else does. Everyone makes fun of me.
No, I understand the point of view, but nobody says it apart from you, Nick.
I'm making it happen. I firmly believe it should be buried, and I am sticking by that. That is a value. I will stay with buried until the day that I die, and I will never change it. So,
yeah, that's fine, Nick. I'll let you go. I'll let you go on with that. Not that you need my not that you need my
I
blessing.
appreciate that.
Not that you need my blessing.
No, I appreciate the blessing. I have no other blessings for that, except for my sister, who also says it. So I don't know. Maybe her parents like messed us up somehow, because they're the only two people who say it in like the whole world.
All our parents messed us up in some way, but yours a little bit more by making you say buried.
Yeah, I also said I say won instead of I won the game. I think you say I won it.
You say one,
what do you
like
say?
the number.
I say one.
Like the
I say
number.
no. People say it like the number. Other people say like won like the number. I say wait. They say one like the number. I say won.
Won.
Won like WAN. I say I won the game.
Okay.
I don't know why I say it. I do.
Well,
I can't stand behind that one. I have no excuses.
Well, I say one.
Yeah, that's what everyone else says. One. That's weird. I've always said one, so I can't change it now, but I know it's wrong and I do not stand by that one. So like I get nervous to say that on stream. I feel embarrassed when I say it because someone's gonna notice.
I'm gonna start putting together a phrase book for your viewers so that they know what the heck you're talking about. I'm kidding, by the way.
Can you put together a phrase book for like English like idioms and stuff like that for me?
I could, but it's such people get so passionate and patriotic when I start saying these things. Although I have to remind them that English language, England, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
The only one I really know so far is stodgy, and I want more.
Stodgy, yeah, I love that one.
Stodgy. I need more.
The food was all right, but it's a bit stodgy.
Love it. I need more because there's not many chances on stream I get to say that. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's not one that's
making stream coming soon, so I can say my food is stodgy.
I don't know, Snack Daddy. It's a bit stodgy, this pie.
I'll say it like 30 times, and people will be like, "Okay, like." Yeah, I don't know if she's having a stroke or like if something's going on. It's weird.
She's gone all transatlantic on us.
There's like a fly. It's pestering me.
Well.
Okay. Yeah, they've started coming in now that it's warm. I'm like, shouldn't we get outside?
I think it's 5. I think it's 5G. I think it's part of 5G conspiracy.
5G bugs.
Yeah.
You know what? I believe it. All right, let's see. So, so numbers and stats, they're good to look at, but you got to do what you love. Numbers and stats, like, I don't even want to say they're good to look at. I disagree with what I just said. They're okay to look at. Let's go with that. They're okay to look at. I think what's good to look at is what you love. There we go. So that's your content in a nutshell. Pretty much do what you love, but also, you have to keep the world around you in mind. You have to consider what you would love, but also what your viewers would love, what you're going to be good at, what you'd be able to, play long term. If you can't play one game long term, maybe variety is more the way to go. But ultimately, it still has to fit in with what you enjoy, because people are going to know if you aren't enjoying it. You're going to make faces, even if you don't think you are.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we have the content talked about, this is the one I'm most excited about. So you're a streamer, aka your entertainer type, because let's be honest, like we're entertainers. That is what a streamer is. We are here to entertain you, to have fun. Yeah. Yes. And of course there's more to it, right? Because when you're watching the TV, like there's less community maybe. Even though they try to make you feel like you're part of a community, like it's, there's one-on-one interaction, there's real-time interaction, but you are still at your core an entertainer. So there's different entertainer types as it applies to streamers. There's the Salt Master, which I don't think I need to explain.
No.
The Salt Master is, we've all seen a Salt Master. We know who that is. Comedian. There's the comedian, so someone who's funny, who like your purpose of entertainment is to be humorous. There's the creative, the talker, which is me.
I don't know anyone like that.
The pro, which is not me, I put them like right on top of each other. Yeah, I am not a pro at anything. But if you're a pro, that's good.
Semi-pro.
See, I would consider it pro, but
semi-pro. I'm not going.
I'd say more.
I'm semi-pro. I'm not going professional yet. I'm thinking like Red Bull when I get pro across my t-shirt.
I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference like technically between pro and semi-pro, but what I can tell you is I've seen you do 3 like shell jumps in a row, and I couldn't do that no matter what. Like that's hard. I've tried 1 shell jump and
I've just played
it hurts when you die so much.
A lot. 2,000 hours nearly Mario Maker 2, so
holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Get away.
This is why, but this is why I tell people, look, don't they're like, I suck at this game. I'm like, you watch people who play it all day, every day. Don't manage your expectation. And there are people who are the same level again above me because they've been doing it for 4 years, since the original. So like, I don't know what that line is where it becomes a professional thing. I mean, if you go into the technicalities and what it actually means, then I guess technically, if it's my living, so I guess that's technically right.
You're a professional. You just learned today.
Are you listening, Red Bull? No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah, I'd choose something better. sorry, Red Bull. I don't like energy drinks. It's nothing personal.
What did you say? $10,000. Where's my hat? Where's my Red Bull hat? How many cans can I drink in one stream? Everyone's got a price.
Actually, it's funny because it's true. Well, depends. It's not complete. I make a joke and then I'm like, okay, it's not really true, but it's just let me finish my joke. But yeah, it's funny because the way you talk about streaming is the way I talk about art. I believe anybody can learn. I believe that there are people who are better than me just because they put enough time in, but I can get there if I try hard enough and work hard enough. It's just so funny because the way, but I still like to make jokes about my Mario Maker stream. Yeah. Because I do think I would actually be interesting to watch play Mario because I'm that bad, and I think that's entertainment in and of itself. It is fucking horrendous. It's just painful to watch.
I mean, I think the thing would be though, is that what the beauty is of Mario Maker is that you play hard levels, no matter what your capability, it'll be hard for you.
Yeah.
And it gives you good opportunity regularly.
Yeah.
To check in with chat. Every time you die, you can check in with chat.
Yeah. Which is valuable.
You can just pause without having to think. Like when you restart it, where am I? What am I doing? Yeah. For the most part.
That was me last night. Sekiro got so real. I beat 2 bosses and I was on a 3rd one and I was not talking a lot. And after I got off stream, I was actually sad last night because I was like, I usually talk so much more and I was disappointed that I didn't get to talk a lot.
Yeah, that game's intense though. That game's so intense.
Usually when I play, it is intense, but I can chat. But the bosses, I went back and watched the VOD. I was like this, I was fucking serious. I was in it to win it. I was deadpan. If I could have killed with eyes.
Yeah, they just require absolute concentration because they're so difficult.
Do.
They're so
I didn't even know I was capable of absolute concentration until last night. I'm not kidding. It was incredible. I was like, what is this?
They take absolute strategy to beat. You slowly work that strategy out, and if you waver slightly or do the wrong thing, you're in big trouble very quickly.
I experienced that so hard last night.
Yeah.
It's the summary of my night. Educator and Sage. I'm actually pretty excited about this one because I think that when people hear Educator and Sage, they think of video games. You can educate on anything. As we were talking earlier, if there's something you could do, I was watching an art stream last week where she was educating people on how to construct the anatomy of the torso using basic building blocks and perspective, which is really, really cool because I love that stuff and I have not seen anybody else doing it.
No.
So you can educate or be a sage on anything. It doesn't just have to be games. It can be games, but it doesn't have to be just games.
Yeah, and I think
actually, go ahead.
I think this ties in as well with the audience thing because my stream is like a PG-13 or whatever, and there are a lot of young teenagers in there who going through various stuff that every teenager goes through. And I am not the oracle. I don't know everything, but I have had that experience. And sometimes they're not stuff they might not be comfortable about talking to their parents to. And in fact, it raises another point, because I understand at the same time, I actually have a duty of care to those people who are minors, because they are very easily people are very easily influenced at that age.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I kind of like about it is that you see that perspective again. You know, you see those doubts that you would never, that pretty much nobody has as an adult, or very few people have as an adult. You see that, and there is stuff that you can't help them with, but there's stuff you can definitely help them with. And anyone can do it. It's not because I know better. It's because I've just had that experience, like everybody my age has had. So yeah, and then on top of that, like you say, there are many other things that so everybody likes something, like they'll know about, that's not to do with the stream, and absolutely. And it can be and it can be good talking points as well if you are new and you're trying to get, drum up conversation.
Certainly. And I think what you brought up is a good point, because we were talking earlier about demographics and age group. Keep in mind, if you are streaming to a younger age group, you do have a specific skill set that you need and a specific duty to them.
Yeah.
Because that's a vulnerable age group. So if you feel uncomfortable or like you aren't able to do that properly, I think you need to take that into consideration.
Just go straight. Yeah, definitely take that into consideration, because I've never had a problem or felt awkward speaking to younger people, but I know loads of people that do. People that have their own kids that wouldn't feel comfortable talking to other people's kids. Yeah, they just wouldn't know what to say, even though there's nothing wrong with them. They know perfectly what to say. So it's a big one. But I mean, for me, say the wrong thing. Well, easily say the wrong thing, and they do have a tendency to be more honest and transparent, because you are at that age. As a kid, you things come and go very quickly. You let go of things quickly, and things come into your life quickly as well, and you learn quickly, and things change quickly. And then sometimes they're like, whoa, this kid at school was said this, and I can be like, well, in my experience of those people, this happened. Sometimes they might be having a problem with the kid that I used to be like, not even necessarily bullying or anything like that, or just that they're friends with somebody who was a bit like what I used to be like, and the bad traits that I used to have, and I can say to them, I was a bit like that, and it was wrong, and but then I can say what I've learned from that as well. So it's really important. You got to be really careful if you are streaming to people under the age of 18, because you have a massive influence, and they look up to if they become regular, they look up to you. They do. They see you as an adult figure in their life, like they would a teacher or friends of the family. So. And you some of them you probably have more contact with them, more dialogue with them than, and this is sad, in some cases, not all of them, you probably have more dialogue with them than their actual parents. That's something I've only just thought about now, this second. You might have more dialogue with these kids than they actually have with their parents, or maybe one of them and they can't connect with their parents because they're so different. So you've got to be really mindful of that, because then what you say, it's I'm very careful sometimes. If a joke's not very obvious, I will say straight away, don't take that seriously. Because the adults will know it's a joke. The kids, not so much. So if it's really not obvious it's a joke, then I will say, I've got to, because there are kids in there and they could just be like, oh, Joe said that, and I look up to that guy, so so I'm going to start sniffing markers and spray painting Mario mushrooms all around town because Joe says it's cool, and I've seen it on his stream. I think that's why, for me, age group is so big on demographics.
You have to know that before you start streaming for sure. No, if you do or do not plan on appealing to children, I think that's a big one to know right off the bat, because that takes your channel in completely different directions. So give some thought to that. If you're not comfortable with it, it's probably better to err on the safe side until you feel comfortable, maybe.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Where were we? Educator and Sage. Positivity. You can be a streamer who, and this might not be a trait in and of itself, or it might be depending on how you do it. But, your streamer type is to be really positive, to be really happy and bubbly and say hi to everyone. You can be controversial. We all know a controversy streamer.
Yeah.
I mean, a community builder.
Yeah, carry on.
No, go ahead.
No, controversial was like my second port, I think. I think that would have been my second port of call.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Very different.
I'm pretty
sure. Two very different ones.
Well, I feel what I do well is getting the balance between entertaining the adults and entertaining the kids. So like I've said before about like how really good, I try to think about how really good, like sort of not family, but like teen adult films are entertaining for them, but also there's stuff for adults without saying anything really blunt, without saying anything like crass, because in real life sometimes I might 90% of the time say it all the time, but and actually it's attracted people that do the same, so they will write stuff and it ends up being hilarious because they know they can't write any profanity, so they have to think of clever ways of getting around that. And then that becomes really funny. I wouldn't recommend trying unless you were really confident you could do that. And I didn't really know. That just happened to be okay for me because the line is so fine of what's appropriate for teenagers and what's appropriate for adults and then kids as well. So if you are not sure and you don't think that you could necessarily hold your tongue in certain instances, then probably just make it 18 plus. Because then you're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the reason why I definitely am 18 plus. I was like, I'm not going to be able to keep myself from saying something really inappropriate. So
and I mean,
just off the bat, that's knowing you. That's knowing you.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that your stream's any better or worse, or you're a bad person or you're a good person. It's just something that's different. And
absolutely,
that's all it is. No shame.
Absolutely.
In that.
No, and that's why I say, like, you have to know you and double down on your strengths, because that's what that is, right? Like we have different strengths, and that's what makes our channels successful. Whereas if we were trying to be like each other, it might not work out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of just have to know yourself and go with what you're comfortable with and what you excel at.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's funny that you said controversial. I kind of suspected that one, but I wasn't sure. See, we have community builder. So those are people who try to bring a bunch of people together, build a community, create a space for other people to talk and interact. Trendy, which is basically staying up to date with the trends. It's, buying the new video games, buying the new products, always kind of being at the verge of things. And kind of related is the innovator, which is always trying something new, always doing something different, always looking for something they can do, experimenting, trying things out.
Yeah.
Just kind of trying to innovate and bring something new. And then there's the explorer and student.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Carry on.
Okay, and then there's explorer, student. And I put these together because they're kind of similar to me. So somebody who explores, whether they're exploring outside or inside, you can also explore the internet. You can explore books. You can explore information. So that's why I put explorer and student together. It's kind of like a general curiosity streamer, someone who's trying to learn or explore or kind of get to know the world around them.
Yeah.
And And you can combine these, right? So like for me, I know sometimes I go with the creative. I'd say, yeah, I am a creative streamer, even though I don't stream art, because my overlays and stuff that I do and my panels, I do try to be really creative with those.
Absolutely.
So I take my creativity there. I'm a talker and a community builder for sure. Those go hand in hand a lot.
Yes.
And then I'd like to think I'm an innovator. I'm always trying to do something new. Yeah. And not everything makes it, and some things don't make the cut, but I'm always trying to find something new I can do that I haven't seen done before. Like my sub badges, I hadn't seen anybody else, and I'm sure someone probably did it because there's not too many original ideas, but I haven't seen anybody else collect ingredients to make the ultimate 1-year sub badge. And so that was something for me that was like innovative and cool and that I really like. So you can combine things as long as it forms one cohesive, not confusing image, because you don't want to confuse people.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And I think out of those are probably exactly what I'd pick for you. And I think,
thank you.
And I think if I was to pick those, I would probably pick talker, semi-pro, bad comedian, but that's like my shtick, right? Like the jokes are bad, so they're kind of good, but still really bad. And community builder, and like I don't feel like I'm like blowing smoke up my ass by saying I think that probably most of the community would agree. Maybe a little bit controversial too, but like I feel like they'd agree. But that's a good thing, because obviously that's what I am. That's what they obviously want to see, and it's clear. It's clear within watching like 5 minutes of your stream, 5 minutes of my stream, what it's about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you want it to be clear, because then they're going to stay, right? Like if you're a creativity streamer and that's not clear, you're not attracting the people that you want to attract, and your content's going to be weird and muddied, and you're doing something wrong. So you need to kind of troubleshoot that and figure out what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely, you can expand on this if you guys can think of other ideas. I felt like the list was pretty comprehensive, but I'm only one person. I always feel like list is better.
I feel like you'll do well to find much more, but of course, there will be. But what a great plan for people who are looking to start streaming. And I'm not saying this because Nick is my co-host. I would strongly advise anybody to seriously, if I could go back like 13 months and do this, I would have already learned so much about myself and the stream before I'd even started. It doesn't mean I haven't been successful, of course, but and I'm not what if person, but would it have been helpful? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad you think so, because that's the goal here. Is
absolutely,
getting into streaming, I see so many new streamers, and it's like, they're doing some things, I don't want to say wrong, but like they could do a lot better. Like they have potential, and it's hard to see them have potential and just not know what to do, because they just don't know what to do, right? So if you can set yourself up for success, because you don't there's this whole traditional mentality that like basically you're going to stream for years and years and years before you're successful, which is very much true, but it doesn't always have to be. It's not always the case. Like there are some people who, let's say you stream for 3 years before you're successful. Well, if you did different things, could you have made it in one? Right? So you want to set yourself up for success and kind of make that journey as short as you can, especially if you want this as a career. So if you guys can think of more, please let us know in the comments or on one of our channels, or just let us know somehow, because I'd love to expand on this information, because I am writing I want to call it like a little pamphlet, ebook. I don't know. It keeps getting longer and more. I think it's going to be awesome though. It's going to be really good.
I think so, because I think there are quite a few videos you can look up on YouTube, but about starting to stream. But they are more about here's quick 5 things, and I'm not saying they're not relevant, and they are by experienced streamers and stuff, but what Nick is doing here is building a guide. Nobody's trying to tell you what to do, but we both have experience of this, and Nick has just been through all this. Nick has just been through the starting out period.
Yeah.
So it's fresh, and this is why it's so great to have Nick, because this is fresh. She's got her solid base community now, and she's just been through. She's literally just been through all this. I've been through it a year ago. She's just been through all this. So
yeah,
and
still going through it. There's a lot that I'm like,
we will be.
As I stream, I'm like learning things. I'm like, oh, I should have like thought about that before I started. I thought of as much as I could before I streamed. I like to plan, but there's so many things like you see evolve, and it's fascinating. It's really fascinating.
Yeah,
it's interesting stuff.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. We will be back next week. Of course, you can find the podcast on all the popular formats. So have a great weekend, and it's goodbye from me.
Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
Goodbye.